When the lights and camera turn off, I will be here. When the interest and conversation fade, I will be here. When there's no one around, a father will do anything it takes to be there for his son, to protect his family.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son.
And I'm still searching for him. Thank you guys for coming in this evening's Q&A. I'm David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. My son, Daniel, a graduate of the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina, decided to go out to Arizona to start his career, start his life, to do his career in geology. He went hired by a company called Matrix New World out in Phoenix, where his residence was at the time. He landed a job with a company called Matrix New World, also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater. There, they hired him on as a field geologist. Also, they call it a hydrogeologist. What Daniel does on that job is he get assignments to various well sites all across Arizona, different areas, whether it's in the day or the night. But he get these assignments to these wells where Daniel have to check the viability of those wells. His job is very important. Being a scientist, his job is to help determine if those wells can produce at least 100 years of water. That is something that's required by law in the state of Arizona. When it comes to building communities, new communities come in, have to have those wells to sustain those communities. His job also tests the water to make sure those wells are drinkable. The water that's coming out of it is safe. So his job is very important. On June 23rd, Daniel had got 2 assignments, one at a well site off of Verado Way area, not giving the exact roading, but the Verado Way area that's still in Buckeye, Arizona. The second was off of Sun Valley Parkway near the Cactus Road Junction there, West Cactus Road in the Sonoran Desert. The problem came when he went to the second well site, reportedly went to the second well site where he met a person named Ken who works for a company called Weber. That's a drilling company. They're the ones that drills the wells. They're the ones that caps the well and, things like that. He went to go meet that person out there. Typical like y'all Daniel normally do on each of his jobs. He'll meet a representative from another company, and he'll do his job. But nevertheless, this worker said that Daniel met him out on Sun Valley Parkway on the shoulder of the road. They had a brief conversation. From that point, my son followed him into that Sonoran Desert. This worker said that they drove 1 mile west and 2 miles north to reach the well site where they would be working. They reached that well site. It was roughly at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then once they got there at 9, they had a brief conversation. And he said my son was gone by 9:15. Of course, you guys hearing the news that my son was missing or possibly missing. It wasn't given to me that way, but it was just the weirdness of my daughter calling me saying that one of the co-workers, not the guy at the well, but one of the co-workers from Matrix New World, Daniel's off the job friend, went by her apartment to see if Daniel was there. That's when she got alerted that something wasn't right. she reached out to me. Of course, I'm not sure if she reached out to her mother, but she reached out to me and tried to get some guidance on that. Of course, sent her to the logical things that we did the due diligence. First, she went to go check Dane's apartment while, of course, we were constantly calling his phone to see if he answered. The phone just rings and rings, but he never picked up. Once she got to his apartment, she noticed that he wasn't there. The door was locked. And she, being that we couldn't get in contact with, we knew something wrong. We checked with his friends, did everything we can. The next thing I had in my mind is to do a welfare check because it was strange that his phone's ringing, but his vehicle was missing. I think, if I'm not mistaken, she said one of the lights was on in the apartment. And so those things was concerning to me. Of course, I called the Tempe Police Department, which is the jurisdiction of Daniel's apartment, where his apartment is located. So I called them to report that, see if they can do a welfare check that we had. Of course, Daniel was last seen from his job, and there's some suspiciousness going there. Was asking them if they could please check those wells. Check that apartment. So I did ask the Tempe Police Department to do that. They declined to do so. And that was because I started mentioning the fact that only little information I had at the time was from Daniel's job, and from that worker who came by my daughter's house said something about a white tank mountain. So when I used the word white tank mountain to that dispatcher, they immediately pushed me over to Buckeye, Arizona. They didn't want to do the welfare check. Of course, I called the Buckeye Police Department to, at that point, ask for a welfare check, and as well as try to get a report missing for my son, been missing, because we know Daniel. We know that's not his pattern. He always let us know where he is going. He had travel plans, etc. But we did contact. I did contact the Buckeye Police Department, who told me they will call Tempe to get them to do a welfare check, but I could not report Daniel missing until it was a 12-hour wait. I had to wait an additional 3 hours. I was 3 hours too early. They asked me to call back. So, of course, I did that, did a call, waited around, and made that phone call to report my son missing after the 12th hour. And that's when I got the officer Cruz was assigned to my son's case to go see what he can find out. Of course, Cruz and I was doing a whole lot of running, a whole lot of back and forth, trying to piece things together. The officer Cruz also told me that he was going to ride up. When I told him about this White Tank Mountains, he said that's the first time I heard the word Sun Valley Parkway. He said he'd be riding up in the area of Sun Valley Parkway to see if Daniel was in that area, if he was on the side of the road. And I was relieved of that. But I was relieved until I found out that Daniel actually was missing in the desert. When I found that out, because I'm doing my due diligence again, talking to some of the co-workers, that bothered me. Of course, the first thing I did is ask Officer Cruz, can they send a helicopter out to look for my son? He's been missing all day. It's dark. They say he made the right turn, went farther out to the desert. To me, it was an emergency. We need to get somebody out there really quick, fly over the area, and see if they can locate my son's vehicle. It's in the desert. It's a desert, so it's a dangerous situation. But they didn't see it that way. They said they couldn't get helicopters out at night, but they could do it in the morning. Stayed up all night, of course, you guys. The next morning, Officer Cruz was relieved of a second officer. I think it was Officer Haley, I believe his name was at the time. Did get in contact with me. I did inquire again about this helicopter search. He told me he was going to look into it. He did. He said, hey, look, we're going to have the search. We're going to have the helicopter go out. I was really happy about that. But then he called me back sometime later, an hour or so later, and said, no, it's a no-go. His higher-up, he said, it's not my decision. It's my higher-ups said that it's unauthorized. Because Daniel's a grown man. If you want to disappear on his own, he can. I don't know where the assumption came from, but because they said that, you guys, that's what prompted me to leave to go to Arizona, because I hear these guys. I've been dealing with certain things in life when I seen when police departments really don't get that urgency in their brain, or see the value in who we are as a person. I do recognize that really quickly. I lost all sense of reality, being that I'm over 2,000 miles away from Arizona. So I decided to hop in my car without thinking, grab anything I can, and started heading out west. On the way out to Arizona, of course, I've been doing a lot of phone calls back and forth, working with the Buckeye Police Department, trying to give them information they need, as well as try to give information myself to try to get some involvement going on, try to get somebody going to look for my son. We had to literally beg the Buckeye Police Department to try to get a helicopter out there. I couldn't get them to do it. But whatever my aunt said, once I was almost to Phoenix, my aunt, whatever she said from to the Buckeye Police Department, she finally called me when I was just coming into Phoenix, into Arizona, and she was like, "Hey, look, we got the bird. We got the bird. They got this thing called a Phoenix Firebird helicopter. I don't know what it was at the time, but it sounded like something that probably would come out of Phoenix." And of course, really relieved of hearing that. But of course, they came up empty-handed, they say. But that was almost 3 days after, Daniel went missing, you guys, by that point. It wasn't enough for me at the time. Once I got on the ground, of course, I did all my due diligence as well. My daughter, I picked her up, and she and I would go all over Arizona, from Phoenix to Tempe to different areas to try to see if we could locate Daniel. Went to the airport, went to area. I didn't know how big the airport is, you guys. We went to every parking space in in that airport, as well as those off sites and stuff like that for the airport parking. Just because we just want to make sure that we're checking every basis, though we know Daniel would not leave anywhere without letting the family know, just in case we still had to check anyway. We didn't know that he didn't have a passport, but we said, hey, he could have traveled. Let's go ahead and make sure. So we checked the airports to everything we can. And of course, my daughter knew his vehicle at the time. I did not. So, of course, she had to be there with me. Went to the Red Cross, went to the NAACP, we went to every person that we could think of that can help in our search for Daniel. Of course, you guys, over a period of time, during the same time when I got to Arizona, within 2 days of a day or two to get into Arizona, one of the other things I inquired was to first talk to Daniel's job, find out who this guy was that said that my son just vanished, just walked off. That happened the second day I got in Arizona. The first day, of course, I got settled. The second day, I was in his face to try to get some. I wanted to hear him tell me the same story that he told those officers, which he did. Which he did at the time. He told me those words verbatim, almost like it was written down, because it was exact. Whatever the officer told me, Officer Cruz told me at the time, he said it exactly how Officer Cruz said it to me. Of course, over a period of time, of some techniques I used, he got comfortable. And that's when he changed his story. Start adding a lot more details. You guys, you already know him staying left of the tracks, so he didn't disturb them. He knew that the police were going to come looking, and that this thing was going to go national, as well as to go. He going out driving through this gate, get to this gate, open the gate, drive so another mile, got up on foot, went up on the hill, sprayed red rocks with red paint. And things like that, just to show the officers where these tracks was going to, just different things like that. All those stories that he was giving from that point was weird and strange to me. So I did reach out to the Buckeye Police Department, reported those things. I had witnesses with me to corroborate the story, and the Buckeye Police Department didn't accept it. So those are the things that started off at the beginning of the questioning of what happened to my son at that well site. One of the problems, you guys, I want you to know, as well as the problem with the well site, is the point that I was misdirected, whether it was by the Matrix New World or some other entity, but I was actually taken there to the wrong well site by Matrix employees. They told me that this is the well that Daniel was last seen. I should have known better at the time. I did not. I have never been in that desert. That was my first search that weekend. Some of the Matrix employees, Dane's boss, came along with me. He was my guide into that well, into that desert at the time. Following him, the first thing I was concerned about, excuse me, you guys. First thing I was concerned about is getting to this well, because I want to see this well. I wanted to be on the ground. The story that was given to me, I want to put myself in Daniel's shoes and live the moment, look around and see what I can see, because they said, hey, he was staring off into the desert. I want to be able to stare off in the desert and look to see what he saw. Try to put myself in my son's mind frame at the time. Of course, we got into that desert. Daniel's boss, his supervisor, took us to the wrong location. We did not know where this well was. When he said he knew, but he didn't. When we got there, of course, he took me to a corral that's north. That's pretty much south of where the south of where the well site would be. But he took me to a corral. Said, "Oh, this is the well site." We could not find a well at the time. Later on into my searches, I was misdirected to a well that is south of the original well that Daniel went missing from. Only reason why I know that location that Daniel went missing from, which well is which, is because of the story. You guys, you follow the story of Ken. He said 1 mile west and 2 miles north. It would take it to the second well site, not the first. I did the measurements. I did the drive. I don't know what the Buckeye Police Department have done, but I actually been on the ground and did the work. I did the work, followed the story. The story didn't match. His timeline didn't match with Daniel's phone records of his story. So all of that together was bringing a lot of suspicions into the story itself from Ken. Of course, you guys, you hear him on. He did some interviews with some of these shows and things like that. Came out to do an interview and tell his side of the story. But like I said, those things are not matched. He started adding things. Oh, Dan's now starting to run around in circles. That wasn't the original thing that he said. You would not see that in the report. He started saying run around in circles to in the original. He's saying he was looking at Daniel's eyes, checking his eyes, checking his eyes to see if they're dilated. Like I said before to you guys, Daniel's a black male. He have dark brown eyes. You would not see his pupils unless you have some kind of flashlight. And I know Daniel would not let a grown man put his hands and try to look in his eyes with a flashlight in the daylight. So that wouldn't win in a way. So all those kind of stories is really strange to me to try to paint my son off as he was a weird character at the time. He made a lot of judgment calls about my son, a person he said he never met before. He don't know his mannerism. He don't know Daniel. If that's the first time you met him, you don't know what's normal, what's abnormal. And so those type things right there was really problematic for me as a father looking into it, but listening to Buckeye Police Department seeing it in their own way. They did things like say, hey, we talked to co-workers, plural. Co-workers is impossible. You guys, you got to look at the story from the beginning. They couldn't talk to co-workers that saw Daniel and speak of his mannerism or his mood at the time that he went missing. And those reasons why I say that, you guys, because Daniel is like I told you at the beginning, he's a field geologist. A field geologist works in the field. Sorry for bumping the mic. He's a field geologist. He's working the field. I did a lot of meetings with the Matrix staff, with the owner of the company. We did a lot of board meetings at the beginning. I've been doing my work, you guys. Meet with them guys in their office, in their board rooms, and get detailed information about where my son been, how the job details is, what's their safety protocols, et cetera. And one of the things they told me is that Daniel's a field geologist, meaning that they say we barely see our field geologists, meaning that they don't come in the office. These office workers, they don't come in the office and, hey, Fred and Sue and Joe, and come out in there and have coffee and sit down and talk. They rarely come. They rarely see the field geologists because the field geologists come through the back. They have a door where they can drop samples off, and they're gone. Sometimes they don't even know they even showed up. They're just in and out. So they're field geologists rarely seen, and only one that can vouch today's mood is one person. That same person that went to my daughter's apartment, but that's not plural. That's one person. So a lot of pluralness is in the Buckeye Police report of people who they say can testify to Daniel's mood when they haven't. When I asked them, they haven't had that kind of conversation with him on the days that he came up missing. So again, I just wanted to put those things out to you guys. One of the things I want to tell you also is that you guys know the skip ahead. Daniel's vehicle had been found almost 30 days later in a ravine, a little over about 3 miles away from that well site. And it was sitting on the side of a 20-foot ravine farther out in the remote area of the desert. It's sitting on the side. You guys know the story. You see the picture right here on the top corner. It's sitting on the side. The clothing, they said everything that Daniel was wearing on his body was 3 feet away from the vehicle in a pile of clothing. In a pile. And also his boots one was tucked under the vehicle, the other on the other side of the vehicle. You guys already know the damage of the vehicle. You know the story of the information that my investigator found out that the vehicle was actually planted there. Somebody placed it there, brought the vehicle into that area. We already know the vehicle wasn't there. So I'm just giving you guys the rough draft of that. Those guys, anybody who have questions who don't know Dane's story, that's what this is, a Q&A. So we have a Q&A portion of this, and you guys can ask those questions. But you guys know what my investigator found is that the vehicle was planted there. It didn't match terrain. That was backed up by the Buckeye Police Department search. They say they did a search with a Phoenix Firebird air helicopter in that same exact area where the vehicle was found. Eventually going to be found in July. It wasn't there. The second search was almost 2 weeks after that with the Civil Air Patrol that the Buckeye Police Department said they performed. They wouldn't let me in the desert to go with them. I stayed outside the gate to watch them do that. They had the Fitz aircraft that flew over that area where the vehicle eventually is going to be, and it wasn't there. They had the guys on the ground covering that area, walking there, riding over the area, and the vehicle wasn't there. So that verified the vehicle wasn't there. But the vehicle showed up on July the 19th by the rancher who found it, who actually found the vehicle there on the 19th. On the 16th or the the 18th or the 17th, he said he was out there before. He was out there to track his cattle that comes down that same ravine that Daniel's vehicle eventually will be found at. And the vehicle wasn't there. His cattle didn't come through yet. So he came back 2 days later to check to see if the cattle came through, and lo and behold, the vehicle's there. So he testified that the vehicle wasn't there. Okay, for 30 days. So the vehicle was planted there, you guys. We already know the evidence of that. Plus, like I said, information from my investigator who says that the damage on the vehicle do not match the terrain. There's 2 impressions on the windshield. Somebody took something, blunt objects, to try to beat the windshield on both sides. There's, like I said, the red transfer paint on the side of the vehicle, as well as 11 additional miles was driven on the vehicle after the airbags were deployed. For further examination of the vehicle as well through the infotainment system, he was able to find out that the vehicle first crash happened at around 1 o'clock. That's what, 4 hours after Daniel supposedly went missing. And also the vehicle was cranked over 46 times after the crash. So if you guys can imagine this vehicle sitting here on its side in a ravine, it would have been physically impossible for Daniel to be in that vehicle while sitting in the ravine sideways and attempted to crank it up 46 times. That don't make sense. You cannot stay in the seat that way with the vehicle sitting on the side, seat belt or not. You won't be able to do that. That's physically impossible. And the fact they want you to believe as well is that Daniel used some type of superhuman strength. I showed you guys a video here on the Q&A where you have to use a key. The key is located in the back of the vehicle. As a key that you unlock the hatch. The vehicle, those Jeep Renegades do not have a glass for the sunroof. It's just a hatch, and you have to take this certain kind of key to unlock the locks that's there, the mechanism, to be able to take the hatch off. But with Buckeye Police Department say, hey, he uses superhuman strength, and I'm using superhuman strength. They didn't say that, but I'm saying that he kicked his way out of the sunroof, and magically he didn't get injured. But at the same time, they say he had a brain injury, sustained a brain injury that he kicked out his way out of the sunroof, and that brain injury caused him to feel like he's hot, and that's why his clothes in the pile, because he got hot and he took his clothes off. And then he wandered off somewhere, hit on a tree, and succumbed to his injury, and a wild animal got him. That's the thing that was told to me at the beginning, until they decided to say, the detective say that, maybe he joined a monastery to become a monk, suggesting that to me. So those type deals. But not to go so much farther into this here, I just want you guys to know that I have been doing over 45 weeks of searches with volunteers as grassroots search. We found human remains to other items, the suspicions out there in that desert out there, part of the investigation. We also, like I said, bring those closures to other families, but we also covered 35,000 acres of land out there, probably a little bit more of land. And we have a little bit more. That's why you guys know I have a search coming up on the 25th. And I'm asking you guys to join it with me because it's the area that haven't been searched yet. But I do have some news for you guys. When I did send out, you guys know I've been sending out the request to all the law enforcement officers. That's Maricopa County, Buckeye, Tempe, Phoenix, and then whoever else want to come, DPS as well, to come out to the search on the 25th. I did get an alert after I sent out the request from the Maricopa County saying that, hey, they're going to do a search on their own. They want to do their own search. They would try to do it before my search, try to get a search going. They would be doing that as well to search in their professional way. So I'm really pleased that the Maricopa County decided to step up and do a search. They're going to be doing a professional search of their own. They're putting a team together. From what I was understanding, they're going to use all the resources they need to do those searches. So that's a blessing for me, you guys. It's a blessing for my family to be able to get law enforcement to finally do something really in that manner, in that capacity to pull out a big, search the way it should have been done in the first place. So, of course, you guys, the reason why I say that in the first place is, heard me say 3 searches with the Buckeye Police Department. I checked into the Phoenix Firebird helicopter situation with Phoenix. I put in the Freedom of Information request as well as, get the records or whatever, went to the record department. And to this date, they have not found a record that shows that flight ever happened. When I keep calling back to check again, they finally start, now they changed the story, start saying, hey, look, now we're still looking for it. They haven't found it yet, but we're still looking for it. So as it stands, there's no evidence that ever happened. That first search with the Buckeye Police Department, not on the evidence side of the report. Until they show me that. There's no evidence of that. They first said they couldn't find it at all. There's no evidence of that ever happening. I guess they probably through the chain of command hear about the story of Daniel and then decide to say, hey, we're still looking for it. So that's been going on for almost 7 months now. Still don't have any information that sustained that search actually happened. I have my suspicions that it didn't either. I think it's something that was just told to my family to make us feel great, because it didn't make sense when they decided to wait 2 weeks after that point to send that Civil Air Patrol out there to do a search, and then they refused to let me in the desert. They blocked the vehicle. They used a vehicle to block the desert for me to not be able to get in. Once they leave out of my sight, they kept a guy at the gate to make sure I didn't try to sneak in. That type stuff to try to help them on the search for my son. But they say they searched that area. You guys already know the mapping that the Civil Air Patrol that they took, that Buckeye put out with the Civil Air Patrol. So they already have a position of where the vehicle was found and things like that. So we'll talk about that on a different level. But that's a second search. Saying that they say they did. Of course, they've been adding a little information. They said they used 2 aircrafts. I was literally there the whole entire time. They only used one. They did only one flyover. But nevertheless, they did do a search there because I was there. The next search after that, guys, happened weeks after that as well. That was on July the 19th when the vehicle showed up, and they say they did these hours of searches. They specifically told the rancher, don't tell me or the press. Being at the press looking for it, we all looking for it. I'm doing desert searches every week. Don't tell us that the vehicle been found. They kept that secret in the dark for whatever reason. There's out there on the ground. They say their story is a lot different from the rancher. They say they had cadaver dogs, Maricopa County dogs out there. They had the cadaver dogs, they had the search dogs, they had DPS helicopter out there searching for a low-flying helicopter, how they put it, to the point where that detective said I could hold my hand up, Mr. Ross, and touch the bottom of the guy hanging out the helicopter, holding on with one hand and looking on the ground trying to find Daniel. Cynical stuff like that. But nevertheless, they say they did that search. And that's the last time that there was a search. But those searches, like I said, what they say they did was different from what the rancher who was there with them, who actually changed their razor tire, because they had one razor. He described it to me. He described it to me in full details what he saw out there, one razor, and he gave me a number of officers out there I would not put in public right now. But the irony to that is, and he said the dog. There's only one dog. It wasn't a bunch of dogs. There's one dog that came out at 10 o'clock at night. At night, you guys, they went out a little ways with the dog, and they came back to the vehicle because they said the mountain lion was tracking the dog, stalking the dog. So they put the dog back into, and they left. So it wasn't no real efforts to look for Daniel. But the report I got from the Buckeye Police Department with those searches is that they like to use plural. Those dogs that are from the Maricopa County did not get no scent on Daniel. The tracking dogs didn't catch up with nothing. There's nothing Daniel leaving the area. They couldn't track anything with the tracking dogs, and also the cadaver dogs didn't pick up anything. The irony to that, you guys, is like I said, the rancher said there wasn't no but one dog. There wasn't no helicopters out there. From what he said they used drones, but they didn't use helicopters. The weird part is when I had that meeting, Chief Hall said he gave me every picture that they have of that scene. That's what this picture right here you guys see up there came from. It came from Buckeye Police Department. There's no forensic markers, of course, but they gave me everything. Everything they gave me is drone footage. I have no helicopter footage, so it kind of backs up what the rancher said. It was drone footage. There was no helicopter footage there. And then the number of officers that he said was on the ground from their own footage. I'm looking down. You guys don't have the picture, the stuff that I have myself. You can count each officer, and he was dead on. And you can see the one razor that they had dead on. Everything he said is dead on, been corroborated by their own pictures from the Buckeye Police Department. So those efforts to really look for Daniel, I feel was flawed. It wasn't really done. So that's why you guys know I've been constantly searching. You guys been helping me out there in the desert. And that's why I'm pleased to hear that Maricopa County will be doing an extensive search of my son in that area, what they say. But I will be a part of that, you guys. When I say I'm a part of that, they give me a way to be able to keep track of everything that's going on. And I can actually be out there to, do my part as a father who's been searching for my son for over a year now. To make sure I'm part of any efforts the law enforcement take to go look for my son at this point. You know what I'm saying, you guys? So definitely glad I'm try to give you much I can without, things I cannot give you. I find out what I can and cannot put out in public. But the thing is, I'm really happy to say that part of it. But I will be still going forward towards the search on the 25th, you guys. Please join in with me. And that's one thing I want to put up here on the screen real quick, is that, if you guys can, this is a call to action that I've been put up before. There's one correction I want to put in here, though. To help me right now, you guys, is to come to that public search. Get ready and gear up for that on the 25th. I will have some people coming in as well from out of town, from another school, from Missouri. Some reporters are there. They'll be coming out to do some things. Some people from the forensic department, hopefully ASU, as well as some other folks will be coming out. Of course, I did send out the invitation to law enforcement. I hope they will come. I'm still holding them to it. I'm just going to hold it to them. They give me reasons why they feel like they're not. But you know what? I'm still going to hold them to being there because it's a search that need to be done. And I will be calling out in public. And I will be putting it out into the news press as well. I would like to see Maricopa County out there. I'd like to see Tippy out there. I'd like to see Buck out there. I'd like to see Phoenix, those areas out there to support the search. Whether they're on duty, off duty, I don't care. They just need to be out there to show support. You guys, I've been doing searches out there for over 45 weeks, and not one time law enforcement volunteered their actions to come out and help. You guys see it all the time where you got volunteers on the ground, regular volunteers like you and I, with the law enforcement looking for other people. I need to see that same energy in Daniel's case. They can show me at least one time out of 45 weeks of searching. They can show me one out of the 46, 47, 48 searches now. They can show me one search where law enforcement can show me one time that they're really interested in trying to help me find my son. To show some partnership, show some courageous act, that they are law enforcement, they are on the right side of the law, and they can try to help me. I get it. They can come with all this stuff and this technical stuff about laws and this and rules and this and that, blah, blah, blah. I hear all of that, but at the same time, I also know they can come out and search. So I'm really still holding the law enforcement to do that, you guys. So you guys want to reach out to these law enforcement agencies, you still do that. Support efforts. And you guys see right here, number A, a public search for Daniel is scheduled for February 25th. If you are involved or know any groups, so I need help, you guys, because this search is one thing. You guys remember I paused my searches before because of funding and things like that, from lack of resources. And I want to focus all the resources I have, your donations to everything towards getting those flyers out and other efforts I was using to find Daniel. So I had to make a weigh the options out and weigh things out to which one is be important at the time. So right now, I'm definitely getting the search in for this area because I'm being pushed to be in this last search. And I want to make sure that I get this area, make sure I'm covering it fully. I need the people, I need the numbers out there. You guys, I told you I need a minimum of 200 people to be able to do an effective search. That's a minimum. If I get more, that's a blessing because I can check the other areas as well and just be done with the desert. I can kind of rule that out, that Daniel's not out there. The other part is, like I say, if you know any of those groups, reach out to them and see if, I can't think of everybody that say, hey, did you talk to Texas EchoSearch or EchoSearch? I have. You guys, I told you before, that's one of the first ones I reached out to because people tell me, hey, EchoSearch. Okay. Talked to Dave Rader, told you guys that before. Dave Rader, he declined to help. That's because he said Daniel's case didn't meet their profile. I don't know the reasons why, but you know what that meant at all. But I do know that they did refer me over to another nonprofit that ended up not coming to. So they promised me they was coming. I had the search already set up. They were supposed to bring these specialized drones. And then the day of the search that morning, I called and find out where they're at. The guy answered, said his workers didn't come, so they ain't coming out the other. So from that point on, I had hiking groups to other groups saying they was going to come. No one ever shows up. I did have Black and Missing Foundation who reached out. Then not only did they donate, but they also sent a drone company out to assist in the search. So I did get one nonprofit group to help, and that was Black and Missing Foundation. I really thank Derica and Natalie for their help and their assistance, as well as the drone operating company that helped as well out in the search. Okay, and then here it said number 2, share the search date. You guys, it is an urgency that I'm having. Like I said, I need 200 people to make this search effective. If I don't have those 200 people, at least we still can do the search, but it won't be as effective. I think that some of the areas still won't be completed. And then I'm kind of put in a position because, like I told you guys, the owners of those lands gave me one more search. So I want to make sure I make the best of that. So it's an urgency, Daniel. I want to make sure Daniel's not out there. And God forbid he is. I hope it's a bit waste of time that Daniel's not out there. Of course, that's my hope and prayer. But if he's out there, God forbid, I need to find him and bring him home. So I need everybody who's willing to help me do that. It's a very much big urgency for me and my family. For the search of volunteers or on your social media platforms, you guys can share that on your platforms. Whether you're coming or not, try to encourage other people to join in on the search on the 25th, because I really need the numbers. I really need to get the search in completed form. Like I said, 45-week searches. And people, the good part is you guys are coming out there, you can actually see for yourself why it took so long. Somebody say, man, why it take that long? And you could actually feel. I had my brother, I call him my brother. We went to church together, grew up together in the church. And he came out from South Carolina to join me out there in the desert search. And he still can't stop talking about it. The desert is very intimidating. When you're out there, then you can understand why. Being civilians, a person who don't have the specialized equipment that law enforcement have, don't have the certain kind of dogs. I had to get dogs and things like that. I had to charter a helicopter to do a search. That costs money. But they have resources that we don't have, and they can do those things like Maricopa County, who says they're coming up to do the search. They have the resources to do those type things, and they need to utilize those tax money to find people. So it's hard for me to keep bringing up, trying to get money and funding to remain in Arizona, as well as get those flyers out, as well as get keep those billboards going to whatever, following leads and stuff like that is expensive. So to be able to get law enforcement to do that, that's helpful. But at the same time, like I said, you guys definitely need people out there to bring whatever equipment you can, whether it's the razors to your razor. When I say razor, side by sides, a lot of you know what those are. Your SUVs, the Jeeps, and whatever you need, whatever you think that you need out there in the desert to help. I really need those things to make this search successful as well. So need all the help. All right, prepare to attend. Like I said, if you guys cannot come to the search, just encourage some other person to come out. Also, let me put my face on here because I think it's not proper for me to do that. I put myself on the side here. But you know what? Prep for the search and prep for the protest as well. I do have a protest that's coming up as well. That's on the 18th. And you probably look at the date on here. I had the 11th. That's a typo. But it's on the 18th of February. That's the weekend before the desert search. And the protest, of course, is pending. And I'm going to say pending, you guys. I may depend on what, in light of, like I said, I had a meeting with Maricopa County just the other day. And, I learned about the search here. But depending on what goes on with this whole thing here in a couple of days, I may be rescheduling or rethinking this protest. But for right now, this was on the schedule, the protest. And that will be at the Maricopa County, you guys. So please be ready and prepared for that as well. Share this possible event, and again, that's on the 18th, not the 11th, the 18th. You need to promote it on your social media as well on the accounts. I left because I get these typos all the time, and use the hashtag Justice for Daniel. That's what I need. The protest would be hashtag Justice for Daniel, because we need justice. You guys have been over a year now. Over a year now, I'm still preaching the same thing, and I'm just now getting little bits and pieces here. You guys saw how it was over a year. Then I finally got another agency outside of Buckeye, Tempe, to do the forensics on the electronics alone, period. But I still have the vehicle. I still have the red transfer paint on the vehicle. I have the airbags. I still have the clothing on the ground that the family we don't identify. We still have those boots. We have, all of that stuff, all the stuff that have evidence on it that was turned over to me from the Buckeye Police Department. The only thing they did to that vehicle is swap the steering wheel, the shifter, and they say they dust for fingerprints, which I don't see any evidence of that. There's no residue, but they say they did that stuff, and they have done nothing with it until I want to say the end part of last year. They called me up and say, "Hey, when we did that, I guess to get the fingerprinting and the swab the steel wheel and the shifter, they asked me to go to my Daniel's apartment and see if he have a razor, so they can get DPS. So I'm saying they just now doing that over a year. Why it takes so long to even think about processing whatever you did say that you did, So it's things like that. Daniel's life is at stake. Whatever happened to my son, that need to be done in an urgent matter. You guys know that I've been on the ground. I've been doing these, been on this lives here. I've been on news stations all over the place to television shows, whatever the case may be, just doing everything I can to find my son. And you trying to tell me that you can move that slow? It's not that urgent to you. Hey, we just get to it when we get there. No, this is an urgent matter. My son is missing still, and they still don't see foul play after over a year, even with the hard evidence, the vehicle actually being planted there where it was located, that type of stuff. So, of course, like I said, that's what this protest is about, getting justice for Daniel. Because here I am, a father fighting for my son over a year, and people can make all the excuses and blame it on this person and push on that person and use all these twists and turns to try to avoid doing the work. You know what I'm saying? All these, I'm telling you guys, if it was a law enforcement officer or his family member, his son, let it be one of them chiefs out there, or the sheriff of zone, God forbid, it would have been one of his children. Man, that rule stuff would not have been, it would have went out the door. That jurisdictional stuff would have went out the door. But it was only because Daniel's a black male and he just come from out of state. I think the Buckeye Police Department, in my opinion, thinking it was just gonna go away. This man's gonna say, hey, we got no more leads to follow. Tell my investigator they're not investigating. We're gonna say, oh well, ain't nothing we could do, and just go ahead and leave and just call every once in a while and say, hey, y'all find anything? No. They're really surprised to see this thing had went as far as it go. I'm sure they're tired of me being here, but I'm not going anywhere. You guys know I'm gonna keep fighting. Fighting. I'll be a thorn in their flesh. I'm gonna always be here. And so the thing is, I'm saying, you guys, they would not treat another case that way. So we gotta get some justice for Daniel. As long as I'm holding these items that have DNA on it, so foul play happened, and they have done proper analysis of these items. Law enforcement I'm speaking of, I cannot just let that go. They haven't done anything on those items, and I'm still holding on to it. The chain of custody been broken, all kind of stuff, you guys, because of law enforcement. Those things need to be taken care of, and I'm really pushing that really hard. All right, I got let's see here. Let's see what I got here on the number 2. Call, email, write, Maricopa County Sheriff's Office with a demand that they should open their investigation into Daniel's case. Again, I hear all the things that the law enforcement can say and why they won't be trying to take on Daniel's case. I don't, I listen to those things, but I don't believe those things necessarily because, like I said, law enforcement can do what they want to do when they want to do it. And Maricopa County has jurisdiction. They have jurisdiction in Daniel went missing in Maricopa County. Buckeye's in Maricopa County. Tempe, where Daniel lived, is in Maricopa County. You guys already know the story. It is so much with Maricopa County. So the county do have that jurisdiction over Buckeye, and they can take my son's case. It's just a matter of their will and desire to do so. I don't care about appearance or whatever the case may be. I care about my son's life. And so the thing is, you guys, that's one thing too. If you guys can do that, number 2, call, email, write. Maricopa County Sheriff Department, I gave you that information before. You see it here on the bottom. To open up the investigation on their own. They can. You hear all the excuses in the world, but they can't. All right, number 3, I will be making some signs, you guys. If you guys decide you want to come up to the protest, anybody want to help me make those signs, I'll be doing it at least about an hour or 2 before the protest. I put more details as time get closer to that time, deciding if it really is going to be there. But definitely we put those information there, the time that I would be there early or that protest. Matter of fact, this weekend I would put the time of the protest, that a 10 of time on the protest this weekend. So you all can have something to go by. I know it'll be near the evening time, so people go to work and things like that. So just want to make sure it's a good, reasonable time for everybody to do this safely and make it easy for everybody. So, but definitely I need you. That's one of the things I need you to do as well is help me make those signs. So I will be having those things, other supplies out there for it, and you guys can help me make those. Also, urge your local news media to come and attend this protest as well. I'll be reaching out to every contact I have. You guys know, after doing all these interviews, extensive interviews and things, you guys know that I know a lot of contact. I hit them up all the time on certain things. I even invited them out to the search. So I did get a couple feedback from some journalists, not journalists, but reporters. And I'm sure some of the journalists from Dateline is one of them. They be asking a lot, getting updates of what I'm doing and keeping track of stuff like that. So I do have one of those, as well as News Nation is one of that's partnered up with me as well to help get things out like this. So I will be doing the search again. As we get closer, I'm going to remind law enforcement again that they do have an invite from me, and they did get a lot of different ways they got their invite, and they should be out there. Maricopa County, I'm calling them out the specific ones, Maricopa County, Buckeye, Tempe, Phoenix, to come out to the search and assist, whether they're helping security, whether they happen, whatever resources. I need them out there to show that law enforcement can be a part of a community event where I've been doing this over 40 some weeks. Show some concern to me and my family that, hey, you're law enforcement and you have my backing. I have your backing. You're backing me, basically, to what I'm doing to try to find my son, my efforts out there, because I want to see that with law enforcement. Also, let's see, number 2 here, you got information on and outreach. Information on outreach. That's what's talking about the ambassador program that I'll be doing. If I didn't come last week, I put a notice out there on the website. I was unable to make it last week, but I will be there tomorrow. If you guys want to come in on the ambassador program to learn how you can be an ambassador, help with this flyer distribution with the Daniel Rouse Foundation as well. You can become an ambassador, and also you can request these flyers by going to pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com. And I encourage everybody, saying to attend this Zoom meeting to learn more about the VESA program. But yeah, you can still get these flyers and go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com as well. There's a PDF there, and you can print those flyers yourself. So again, thank you guys for joining, listening to that part of it. I was go to the comment section because I'm trying to make sure I don't go too far. But one thing, real quick, I want to put one thing up real quick here before I do forget, is that I want you guys to let's see, here we go. I'm going to show you on the website. On the website here. On the website, saying those who, a couple things. Some people say they miss this right here all the time. On the website, of course, pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You come down here. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and start here. You guys, you see the information about the upcoming search that's on February 25th, 2023. Is a public search for Daniel. All hands on deck. I need everybody, law enforcement as well. I always put law enforcement. This is not something new. Every time I have a search, is always law enforcement invited. I always make sure I put that there. Also, so they always had invitations for 40 some weeks. I have organized over 45 weeks of searches for my son, covering over 35,000 acres of land, in which law enforcement did not attend or show support, nor spent a dime on the search for my son. This is my searches, you guys, I'm talking about. This is their time to show me that they care further than words. Saying words, actions speak louder than words, you guys. People say a lot of stuff. I invite law enforcement to come out with us. A special invite to those law enforcement agencies who touched my son's case in some form. The public and personal invitation is sent to the Maricopa County, which, like I said, the reason why they're couple ways that they're involved with my son's case, who have touched my son's case. The Buckeye Police Department said they utilize their dogs. They said that also this is in Maricopa County as well. And so some of those things right there that put them there. They just have jurisdiction over Daniel's case anyway, over this area that Daniel went missing. So the other part is Tempe. Tempe Police Department is where Daniel was a resident of. One of the things is I did express the Tempe Police Department again, which area with how they assure, sometimes I hear that these law enforcement, they go by a story. Hey, we went by this guy's story. Buckeye said this and blah, blah, blah. We know you're a law enforcement agency. How are you sure that Buckeye is right just because they said that? Do you look and see if Buckeye actually interrogated this person? story? Did they actually look into it or do a deep dive into it? Is the story even accurate? Are you sure, Tempe, that nothing that happened in Tempe? You know what I'm saying? What is your idea of knowing outside of just saying this law enforcement agency said this or somebody said they seen Daniel, but how do they check into to make sure they're that story is correct themselves? Because Daniel is a resident of Tempe, so that make them have the least thing they can do, or I think they should have been doing, is to go out and check the story and see, make sure it's nothing that directs to them to say, hey, I should be the one taking lead on this case. That's what I'm thinking. So that's one reason why I invited them as well. Daniel's a resident of Tempe, and DPS is the Department of Public Safety. They have a jurisdiction everywhere for, like I heard today, highway patrol, but they have jurisdiction everywhere. Top cops, in other words, they don't have a limitation to their jurisdiction. Also in the state of Arizona. And also we got the Phoenix Police Department, where they utilize the Phoenix Firebird, according to Buckeye, to go look at the one that's still been corroborated because they can't find a record of that. But nevertheless, they involved Buckeye involved Phoenix, and I said, hey, they can come out as well. So I sent them an invite as well. So I asked the law enforcement that are attending to please bring resources for the search to help in the command center. And one of the things is that because I need certain equipment. Right now, I've been reaching out, you guys in the background, trying to get certain drones. I even went to DJI to try to get some of these drones that I really need, some of these resources. But I am pleased to hear that Maricopa County, on their searches, will be utilizing these specialized drones. The same things I've been crying for over 40-some weeks. You guys, they mentioned they would be having those things out there. So also, just want to just make sure I come down here, excuse me, a little farther. This is the letter that I did send out to these law enforcement agencies, and it's all of them, all the ones I said to you guys. Also, I've sent it out to not only in Arizona, but I sent to other law enforcement agencies outside of Arizona, South Carolina, Richland County, everywhere. Anywhere law enforcement want to come from, wherever they're at in the world, I mean, in this country, they can come out to help me out there in the desert, help us out there in the desert. I really was looking forward to that as well. I just need all law enforcement. I just want that support from law enforcement. I'm asking them to do that. They can. They make things like that happen. I see them saying, hey, they have these community events, wherever. This is a community event. Law enforcement need to be there. And so definitely looking forward. If they're not there, then we have a lot to talk about, you guys. But they will be there, and they should, and they must be there. Getting a good time. But you come back a little farther too as well. You guys, if you're here, I'm not going to press on the button, but definitely you get directions. You press the button here because I'm not going to put it there and give you guys where I'm at now, and that's not going to happen here on Q&A. But you know what? You guys need directions to how to get to the location out on the Sun Valley Parkway. This is it here. Of course, you have the direction button here. You do have the map in here. You have the street view here. So of course, you zoom in on that to get there on Sun Valley Parkway and the Cactus Road Junction area. So all that is here. So I made it easier for you guys. West Cactus Road, and what it is, I'm glad I put this here. When you come in, most of you could probably be coming off I-10. I'm sure you'll be coming up north, but they have some cuts in the road. You have to come up north. You have to come past this Cactus Road here. You're gonna come up north. There's gonna be a cut off in the road. You're gonna come back down this way. You're not gonna go into Cactus Road here. There's another entrance north of Cactus Road here. It just don't have a name. So we use West Cactus Road as a landmark, which is not even a road. They digged all of this up. It's not a road. That's actually just dirt trail, basically. West Cactus Road is nothing but a dirt trail. But they now tore all that up, so you guys won't be able to go through there anyway. But that is not where we'll be meeting. We'll be meeting north of that. You'll see it before you get to this Cactus Road, come back down south. We'll be right, probably roughly around in this area here, where the mapping is not showing. But let's see if I can back up a little bit. It might show here. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit more, I think. Yeah, right here. This is where we'll be coming in at, you guys. I don't know if you guys can see that, but if you can, this is the area. This is a dirt road as well. It's a lot bigger than West Cactus Road, dirt road anyway. So, but anyway, that's the information there, you guys. Also, like I said, if you guys doing the flyer distribution with me, the ambassador program, you can join in with me tomorrow evening at 5 p.m. That's Arizona time for. I'm sorry. I think I changed that time. to 6 o'clock. Did I? No, 5 o'clock. I still have 5 o'clock here. 5 o'clock, 5:30. 5 o'clock. Okay, what I got it here? Yeah, 5 o'clock to 5:30. That's Arizona time. So when we say 5 o'clock to 5:30, that's on Arizona time. That's at 4 o'clock on if you're in California, for instance, Pacific time, or if you're on the East Coast, of course, at 7 o'clock. So you guys come out to tomorrow, to join in with me on the Ambassador thing. You just click this button here, the Zoom link. Of course, it'll take you to Zoom. If you have Zoom, that's exactly where it'll take you to be able to join in. So simple as that. Simple as that. And I'll be on the side smiling, waiting on you. All right. And also, if you want to join in on the search as well, just go up here to events. I changed it up. That's why I say you guys hit that event button, because you can go here to say submit information. I'm sorry, volunteer to search, volunteer button. I hope I didn't click on yet, but let's see here. All right. All right. Go to volunteer. You go to volunteer to search or whatever. It's still going to take you to Eventbrite. So I kind of have set it that way so you guys won't. Let's see here. Volunteer to search. If you want to go there, you'll see it here. I have it here, the information here. The music, let me see if I can pause that because I know the music come on. But I have let me see if I can pause this because I know it's going to come on. All right. There we go. All right. Now, I didn't get it. Okay. To go back here, you guys, one of the bigger things is here is that, like I said, it says right here, volunteer to search right here. And all you have to do, like I said, is just you'll click this button here and it still take you to the same one. So, hold on a second. Yeah, I think I did something here. Okay. Yes, it'll take you to the same thing here. If you click the button, it'll take you to Eventbrite. So that's the thing, you guys. That is the Eventbrite. Once you get the Eventbrite, I did it this way because, like I said, I had the owners who want to have a head count, and the head count helps them out. Hey, look, you guys go ahead and sign in here, and then at the same time, we exactly know how many people are coming. So you just click this right here to take you where you need to go. Again, if you're on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, let's see here. Go back here. And if you was to go back to if you was on the home page, you don't have to actually be here. But if you was on the home page, you just hit the events button there. So, and it'll do the same as that thing. Take you to Eventbrite. So simple as that, you guys. And I hope you guys can do that. Sign in for to get in on the search, and also just give us that number. So we definitely would like to have you out there. So I need the numbers. You guys. Thank you so much. And that's it. That's it, guys. That's all I wanted to show you guys. And I'm going to head into this comment section here and really thank everybody who's been here this evening for this Q&A, because a lot of you come here every time, every week, and hear some of the same things. Like I said, it's not an entertainment channel. It's to put Daniel's story out there and to get information. But I want to say, Casey, thanks so much for being here this evening. Thank you so much. Thank you so much off the Facebook side. Thank you, Mr. Larnell, as well, for being here. Larnell is our executive director for the Daniel Ross Foundation as well. Other things, he's a good friend of mine as well, as a team member, a team member. So thank you, Larnell, for being here this evening. I really appreciate everything you do, brother. And then also, Rito, thank you so much for being here this evening. It was that heavy metal cat. Hello to you. Thanks so much for being here as well. From the YouTube side. Also, Esan, thanks so much for being here. Clumsy, thank you so much for being here. Hello to you, Esans, by the way. Hello, you, Clumsy. Also, thank you, Lois, for being here. Good evening to you. Thanks so much. I do have a question from Clumsy. Thank you, Clumsy, for putting that there. Excuse me, you guys. One thing, if you do have a question like Clumsy do, put the word question there. The word question there, a question mark, or a capital letter Q. I can help me as I'm coming down the comment section, know which ones are questions. Has there ever been a use of any cadaver dolls in Daniel's disappearance? Yes. Well, I say like this, from my searches I have 3 different times. I have 3 different reports from 3 different dog handlers. And each one of those, I'm gonna tell you the ironically to that, Clumsy. In my searches, those dolls was used, and each time, each one of those reports I have, separate dogs, All on ping on a tree in the area where Daniel's vehicle was found. A tree that's near the area right there. They all ping on that same tree, and they always look up. And to this date, Buckeye Police Department said the Maricopa County dogs didn't find nothing. They didn't even find a human skull that was close by that we found in the search. So out of their dogs are sick. Maricopa County dogs have colds. I don't know, but the thing is, they haven't found anything, and so I don't know if they actually use cadaver dogs or not. I don't know. That's something like I said, the Phoenix Firebird situation is something that just been said, but we have no real evidence of those things actually happening. So until they cough those things up, I'm going to assume that it never happened because it doesn't make sense. It don't goes with everything that's logical. If they're cadaver dogs, they would have found that skull near the crash site where Daniel's vehicle was found. If they use those cadaver dogs, if they use the search dogs, if Daniel was on the scene, like again, that verifies my investigator story that the vehicle was dumped. If Daniel so-called walked off from his injuries and some wild animal got him, whatever case the Buckeye police said, those tracking dogs would have been able to find him. They had the clothing on the ground, right? If that was Daniel's clothing, isn't they use clothing and some outer items of Daniel's to help the dogs locate a person? If that was if he's, that's his vehicle. Just different things like that. So stuff like this don't make sense, don't add up to me. Their story from law enforcement side, right? So again, but yes, from I only can speak for my searches. Yes, we use cadaver dogs. I did. Well, I'll take that back. The Buckeye Police Department came out. I invited them out to a search before twice. The second time they came out empty-handed, partially, and to come out there to do. I specifically asked them to come to that second search. You guys, second time I asked them to come out because I needed them to check. At the time I thought it was 4 wells and also 2 vertical mines, and but it ended up being the 2 wells and there's actually 4 vertical mines out there, right? The vertical mines are those mines that go straight down in the ground. Of course, we couldn't get the vertical mines done. I want them to do it. They law enforcement, get BLM, Bureau of Land Management as well, but they came empty-handed, right? So we had to make an arrangement with them. The Buckeye Police Department come out in the weekday. They came out there, you guys. I told you a story. They bought a dog, some cadaver. They say it's a cadaver dog, but to me, it don't look like one, like some family pets, pure white dog, family pet looking dog. But nevertheless, I asked them for paperwork to verify, because I know the dogs we use were certified dogs, but to make sure the dog's certified. To this day, I don't have that. But the thing is, they did bring a dog. They said it was a cadaver dog out into the well where Daniel was missing. And the dog went, and they said, oh, they didn't ping, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. The dog didn't alert. And also, like I told you guys, they went to the surface of the water, pulled the camera out and said, nothing to see here. But when we went down in that same well with the company, I had the company go down there. The company went down to the bottom. There was something appeared to be a skull at the bottom. To this date, law enforcement don't want to go look. So those things, like I said, but the cadaver dogs, yes, there are cadaver dogs involved. Also, thanks, Sophia, for being here this evening. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Carrie, for being here. I really appreciate you as well. And thanks, Sophia, for putting the information out here. Those who are not on the YouTube side may not be able to see what the moderators put in the chats, but they put out a lot of information. Sophia, thanks so much. Sophia is the treasurer. I got you right this time, Sophia. The treasurer of the Daniel Robinson Foundation, as well as a friend, and also, like I said, a team member. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you for moderating as well. Thank you, Lois, as well. I just spoke to her earlier. She's also moderating, you guys. So we have some moderators in this chat that's helping out in the chat. So public search Friday, February 25th. You can register at Eventbrite, and she have the link there for you guys. Just do it that way so we can get those numbers. For the landowners. You can also register for the search if you go to Eventbrite that way. Thanks so much, Sophia, for putting that out. Or you go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and hit that events tab, and it will take you to Eventbrite. So thank you, T and Wildflower. Again, thanks for coming to the Ambassador Program meeting also as well. Good evening to you. I really appreciate you for your efforts and everything you do to help me, my efforts to find Daniel. Also, AZ, thanks for AZ Native. Thanks so much for being here as well. I really appreciate he's Arizona native. Okay, we have some other natives here as well. So good to see you here on this Q&A. Thanks, Sophia, for putting information again. We are looking for 200 people to show up for Daniel. We are 84. We're getting close, you guys. I really appreciate it. 84 people so far has signed up and said they would be on the search on the 25th. And I'm very pleased of that. I want to shake everybody's hand. I want to shake each and every last one of your hands and really just tell you all thank you so much, like I always do. Just thank you for being a part of the search and helping out. And also, you guys, also I will be needing line commander. So I'll be talking about some of those things coming up. I'll give you like videos of what a line commander do. And I'm saying, because I'm doing line searches and things like that. And I definitely want people who would be in charge of certain line. I'll spread out. We'll explain out all those kind of things. Just kind of get people ready for some of the ins and out of how it is to be out in the desert search. Sophia, she's been out to the search as well as my team, my entire team. They all been out to the search before, and they understand those needs of the line searches and things like that, how we need people on side to keep those lines straight. So we'll talk about things like that, and want to make sure that those who signed up, I'm really pleased. Thanks, Sophia, for putting that up. We have 84 people so far. We're going to get those numbers up to 200, at least 200 minimum. All right. Also, thank you for this information as well. Please help finddaniel.com. You guys, you can see the PDF button there. If you guys want to help me get those flyers out, cut some of the costs, you can print those flyers out. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate it. I tell you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. But if you can't do that, your resources low as well. I will provide flyers for you. All you do is go to please help find Daniel at yahoo.com and request those flyers. Sophia here will send them out to you. She'll send those flyers out to you. We have 2 different sizes now. We have some of the ones that some people's asking for, and also we have the ones I told you all size of a postcard. We still have those, and we'll send those flyers out to you. So either way to those, or you can come to the ambassador program and learn how you can be an ambassador for those flyers tomorrow. Sands, thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you again for coming out. And you have a question here. Sands have a question here, you guys. Thanks so much for your question. To piggyback off of Clumsy's question about the dogs, have you thought about trying to get dogs to help in the search? Yes, they have been, and I will be trying to do that again. That's why I wanted law enforcement out there to bring their dogs, because sometimes, dogs can, some of them can be certified, some not. And I want to make sure that these dogs are certified dogs. So again, still, that's why I'm sending out invitation early. It's end of December all the way now, so they can know that I do have the searches. Know they have ample time to prepare for that. Whether it's Maricopa County, whoever, they have ample time to prepare for my search. I understand what they're doing. I really appreciate them, like I said, you guys. But at the same time, I'm still holding them to coming to the search. All right, and also let's see, Sands, thanks so much again. Clumsy, I think you mentioned before, but user dolls, but they weren't legit. And I think he mentioned before they used dolls. Well, they were legit. It was certified dolls. It's just that it wasn't done by law enforcement, but they were certified dolls, so they're very much legit. All right. Also, we got AZ Native. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for your question. Do you still plan to protest? Or are you planning on protesting on the 18th? Yes. What should protest signs say? Justice for Daniel, and we need the Maricopa County to, take Daniel's case, right? That we did, and then some. Also, we need FBI in Daniel's case, but that'll be a little more organized on wordings and things like that as we progress towards that. But that's the theme of everything: the justice for Daniel. Also, those things that we're asking for is to for the Maricopa County to take on Dan's case, and also the FBI. We need FBI involved as well as some of those other grievances that we know that they can change the Maricopa County, especially in some of these other agencies. So that's the things we'll be talking about and add to those signs. Also, PM channel, thank you so much for being here on this evening. Good evening to you, and good evening to the moderators. So thank you so much, PM channel, for being here. JC Adams, thank you so much for being here. Good evening to you as well. Thank you, Tierra, for being here. I really appreciate you coming out from the Facebook side. God bless you. And then I have Anissa here again. Thank you so much, Anissa, again, for the super chat. I really appreciate you. God bless you and your husband. Thanks so much. And you have a question here, you guys. Anissa have a question. Were any of Daniel's devices, phones, computer, tablet issued to him by company he worked for? No. If so, well, I'll take that back. I think the work computer, was assigned to him. Yes, that was something that issued to him. That was found in that vehicle. And if so, were you provided with any sort of activity logs? And some of those things on there. That's why I was asking this report I had to go through from the Tempe Police Department, is because one thing for sure, Daniel did get assignments from his computer. They did. I was in a board meeting with Matrix New World, Matrix Southwest Groundwater. I was in a board meeting with them, and they had was making the map that I used out there in the searches, and they had this this corner, just kept ping, bing, making a noise, and I see people's faces show up on the bottom of the screen, this bottom left, bottom right of the screen, and I asked them, hey, what is that? What is these conversations I saw come up, pop, 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 and it was the workers. The workers they had conversations with each other. That's how they communicate. And but it was off the work computer, so I did know that whatever Daniel do on his work computer, they could see it in the office, and that type deal. All the workers, so they all kind of attached each other with this work computer, and um, as in I wanted to know the kind of stuff that when I saw that's one of the things I asked, and I'm thinking that you allude to is kind of get those conversations that was going on with the workers. And see, that's the problem I'm telling you guys. I'm not law enforcement. That's why I'm looking for law enforcement to do their job. Because if I could think of things like that to investigate my son's case, to investigate his disappearance, those are things from law enforcement standpoint they should be looking into. They don't want to have the jurisdictional right, especially Maricopa County, not Buckeye, because Buckeye is not in. The company is in Phoenix, but Maricopa County supersede all that, like I said, and to be able to look into the company, look into those conversations, and find out the one-on-ones with the ordering computer, find out those one-on-ones conversation between the workers and Daniel to see if that had any bearings of him going missing. Also, been hearing things about people ask me questions all the time. Hey, I think even law enforcement, do you know you have any enemies? No. Daniel's a nice from a father standpoint, I can be biased. I have never heard of him come to me saying somebody doing something to him growing up ever. So the thing is, I don't know if him having enemies. I couldn't imagine Daniel having enemies, and what reason why. So to definitely be able to look at workers and things like that to kind of help determine if maybe something they can find out what the motives are, or some kind of motive or anything. So you got to look at that. But that's some things that law enforcement is not willing to do because they again refuse, especially Buckeye, refusing to make this thing anything other than a missing person case. A missing person case means they don't really have to do nothing by law. By law, they don't really have to go look for Daniel. As long as it's a missing person case, he's a grown man. They don't have to do anything. They don't really have to. But if they mess around and say it's a criminal case or something in that little terminology, yeah, they had to pull out those resources. They had to put up resources. I could tell y'all something I learned today, but yesterday, but those resources, so they had to pull those resources out, and that cost them money. And like one person told me in the past, they don't want to make their department all about Daniel. But they don't want all their resources going on one person, especially a black male. I can't see that happening. Saying in most cases. So they don't want to be resources going out that way. All right. And he said, thanks so much for your question there, Nilson. Thanks so much for that super chat. I tell you, thank you every time you do that. I really appreciate it. God bless you. He's saying, all right. Also, David sent an email through the website regarding Daniel's phone. About Dane's phone. No, you said through the website. I would be looking for that. If you got any information about it, Dane's phone, I really appreciate that. So, but I will be looking for that. My team will alert me to that as well. All right, T and Wildflower, thanks so much. So fresh smell, hi there. Okay, thank you so much for being here, T and Wildflower again. Rito, have a question here. I see the question marks here. Thank you, Rito. Have you thought about getting a billboard up? Yes, I have that. I had a billboard because of funding. I had to let the billboard go recently. But yes, the billboard was up for several months from the east side of several billboards, not just one, several billboards from the east side of Phoenix to the west side towards Buckeye. I did put out pictures of those billboards before. You know, the crazy part about it, pay for those billboards, and when I run down I-10 and those areas where the billboards are at, and I didn't know Arizona even had billboards. I said, man, I must be driving like this with tunnel vision, you guys. They said, yeah, they had billboards right up down I-10, and I have never seen billboards. I kind of argued, Arizona don't have billboards. What I'm paying for. And sure enough, yes, the billboards were there. But I did have pictures of those billboards for a good length of time, for several months. But like I said, I had to cut those back. Try to get billboards from one person who was helping me get billboards out in New York, because that's a city. Dan, you've been to New York, have friends out that way. I just want to make sure that's covered. So yeah, billboards is always there too as well. So some of the funding went there as well, those billboards. All right, and thanks so much for the question, Rito. All right, and Tia, let's see who else I have here. JC. JC, you have a question here. Thank you also, JC, for being here. And thanks so much for your question. Was the driver's seat readjusted to accommodate someone else's height? I would like to know that as well. My handicap to that vehicle is my desire and my smartness, and the right thing to do is to stay away from that vehicle. I stay away from the vehicle. I pay for the storage for it, you guys, to have it housed and storage and all that stuff. But I haven't only seen that vehicle twice. I got detailed pictures of the vehicle, everything that was in the inventory, whatever. I got those things from before we took possession and before. So I know what's in the vehicle and what's not in the vehicle, things like that. I know where it should be and stuff like that. However, it's saying that's only from pictures from the law enforcement as well as my investigator. But when it comes to me actually physically being near that vehicle, touching or whatever, I never touched that vehicle ever in life. But I've seen that vehicle. I was taken there to see it for the first time in the Buckeye Police Department, Detective Biffin. And the closest I got to it was 3 feet away from that vehicle. And that's with him. He was trying to urge me for whatever reason to touch that vehicle. He wanted me to lift the airbags and look inside the vehicle. And I wouldn't do what he asked me to do. But that's the closest I got to the vehicle. The second time is in the place where it's stored. I was able to see it from a distance. They have an area where they keep it in a square because they have cameras everywhere, and to make sure to keep that integrity. But I had to stay outside. I'd probably say a good 100 feet away, probably a little bit more. And from a distance to see the vehicle, see my investigator do what he was doing. He was doing some kind of assessment of the vehicle at the time. Very hard for me to see. Another third part, I stay away from vehicles. It's hard for me to see, to look at that vehicle. It broke me down, you guys. When I first saw it, and like I said, when Detective Biffin tried to get me for whatever reason to touch that vehicle, I wasn't being smart not to touch that vehicle. I was stunned. You know what I'm saying? I saw the vehicle for the first time, not the way that I was supposed to see it in July. And what I saw is my son got injured and hurt, and I was just stunned. I couldn't move. I was like I was frozen or something. And that's what caused me not to do it. And I thank God, hindsight, that happened, because if it hadn't happened, I touched a vehicle, that would have been some reason people can use, say, hey, you tampered with the vehicle or something. I don't know, that type deal. So I stay away from it. So that's one thing for sure. But it's yes. I don't know if it's being readjusted. A lot of people look at that, the seat belt. It's almost like somebody pull it there. And I get what people saying, because if you was to snap it into that thing, it's impossible the way they have it. I bet you it's probably the bottom part line against, because Buckeye said when you get an accident, the seatbelt lock in that position. It won't come out that position, locks there, right? So one thing, if they clamp it in, how much space is it from that seat? I get what you're saying. If there's no space, then they must let you know they just did that to give it that appearance that somebody was wearing a seatbelt and they let themselves out the seatbelt. So there's a lot of things you look at that, but law enforcement don't even want to look into that. That's not doing police work, detective work, when you're not doing that stuff, checking those things. So, and give an explanation for those things. So that I think if the Buckeye need a what's called a sergeant detective, they should hire me, because I can get the detectives correct to get them on point. So. But that's definitely seatbelt adjustment is one of the things I was looking at as well, as in the seat, Daniel's body frame versus that kind of stuff. Also, you guys, when I look at a picture, people say, "Hey, I look like it's in driving me." I see neutral, but we've been driving. A lot of us been driving for years. you can almost you can close your eyes and know what gear you put a vehicle in at this point. So, but just looking at it, it definitely don't look like it's drive like it's in neutral when it's sitting on the side like that to me from the view I see. But anyway, thanks so much, Tyler, thanks so much for coming off the Facebook side this evening. Guys, I'm gonna get a drink of water here. I'm getting a little thirsty here. Okay. All right. Now, thank you so much again for being here, everybody. Terry Coombs, thank you so much for being here off the Facebook side. Yeah, Maricopa County. I truly hope it happens. I'll believe it when I see it. And that's the same thing I said. When they gave me the news, of course I'm excited. Of course I want, and one of the things I want to say too is I've been itching to give law enforcement credit. Tempe has never told me to tell you guys they did the electronics for Daniel's items, right? The electronic forensics. Matter of fact, they asked me not to at the time, right? Not to, hey, we have our rights to keep it secret or whatever they want doing. But the thing is, I've looked for reasons to give law enforcement credit. That's why I had the search on the 25th to give them some opportunity to give them credit for something, right? And I'm like I said, you guys, I'm not anti-police. I'm anti-police corruption. I'm anti them treating my son or anybody case unfairly. I'm anti all that kind of stuff in policing. You know what I'm saying? So of course I'm gonna say something. I just like I said, I expect from, for instance, Sheriff is on. You see something wrong, if you don't say nothing about it, it's in your department, you're doing nothing about it, see it in your jurisdiction from another department doing the wrong thing, and you don't say nothing about it, that make you a bad cop too. You're a bad person just as much as those people. So you can't point the finger and say, well, that's a bad department. My department ain't like, no, you like that too. If you can see wrong and you're not doing something about it and you have those authority to do it, then you're just as wrong as that person. If I, like, again, use the analogy, right down the road, somebody come pick you up, one of your friends, say, hey, man, hey, let's go get out and go shoot some pool or something. Go out and get in. Yeah, man, I ain't seen you in a long time. You hop in the car on the passenger side. He got a trunk full of cocaine and you don't even know it. Cop pull you over, check the trunk. You'll still be in jail to this day saying it ain't your dope, right? You had nothing to do with it. But accessory to the crime, you're going to jail with them, right? That type deal. So same thing. Law enforcement should hold itself to the same standard. So the thing I'm looking at, if you're looking at officers in your department, there ain't no such thing as no bad apple. The whole bunch is rotten. If you actually notice there and these officers staying there, you're bad too. You see things going on in another department that ain't right, you letting it slide, trying to help them, you're just as bad too. You're a bad cop. That's what makes things when people say it ain't no such thing as good cop. That's what they mean by that. You might be good people, but you're a bad cop. So that's how it works. All right. So here is PM Channel. Thanks so much again for your question. Thanks for being here. Are they not open to you accompanying them on the search at MSO? And that's the thing. I don't like secrecy either. I'm not going to put it out there because I really, like I said, I'm grateful to Sheriff Zone and everybody who want to put their resources there. But that's after the fact. I sent them an invite on 25th. I don't know if that's a way to get off of that, but I'm really grateful for their expertise that they got going on to be able to do the right thing the way those searches should have been done in the first place. And then, but at the same time, yeah, I asked to be a part. I asked them specifically, hey, why are you trying to do a search before my 25th search? Why don't you come on the 25th with those same resources that you say you do, the same people, and go ahead and do the search the way you do it, but you're there supporting, or we're supporting you. I don't care how you want to put it, supporting all together. It's a community thing looking for Daniel. That makes sense to me. But he's not willing to do that part. But the thing is, just to search on their own, I need to be there. You know what I'm saying? After 40 some weeks, yes. And he said he's gonna make some accommodations for me, but I would have had loved to include all of you guys as well in efforts to be part of that as well. But I need those searches done. So of course I'm grateful to see that Maricopa County is doing those kind of planning to do those searches out there. They give me a date. I'll be happy with that. Of course, I won't be able to say it to you guys in public, whatever date that is, because hey, they say, hey, we want to do this on their own. I'm not going to be the one to say, hey, yeah, Maricopa County going to be out there on such date. No, I'm not going to do that part. But hey, that's the only thing I can do for them is to keep that part of it. Hey, I'll just not be able to put that out. But my search is on the 25th, you guys, and I ask you guys to come out there. So don't get those things. Now, I'm glad I won't be able to say that about Maricopa County date they're going to do it, because I don't want people to say, well, they already right there doing it, because I don't know where they're searching at. That area of the desert is really large. I don't know where Maricopa County is planning to search. So, but I know we're planning to search based on the set the map that I showed you guys before. Let me see. Matter of fact, let me pull that up real quick to set the map so you guys can know how. Let's see here. If I got it right here, share screen, how this thing works when I have my searches and things like that. So how we do it. Let's see. All right, there we go. And let me get the question off real quick here. All right, now, this is the set the map. You go to pleasehelpfinddane.com. All right, here, I'll go back here. Go back here. Go to pleasehelpfinddane.com, and you see the set the map here. You just push that there, and it'll take you to the screen here. I'm sorry. Where did I put it at? Oh, here we go. All right, it'll take you to the screen here, and this is the set the map. Let me go ahead and zoom out a little bit more. See if I can go out inward. I'm sorry. If I can get you guys, I want to make sure you guys know what I'm talking about here so you can see it. And I'm gonna take some of these layers off so you can understand some of this too. So keep that there. Keep that there. Take some of these out here. And this is set the map, right? And I'm gonna tell you a couple things is not right. Like I told you guys before, and I'm gonna say it real quick here. Is that this is the map off of Sun Valley Parkway, right? You see this ping located. This is supposed to be where Daniel was last seen, the well site. And this area is not right. I told you guys all you do is hover over this little pin mark, and you get the coordinates down here on the corner, right? But they're saying this is where Daniel was last seen. And actually it's not. If you was to go north, let's see if I can get closer here. All right, if you was to go north of this one here, and the well site, this is the well site that they say he was last seen. But you come out here, you got to come out down this little dirt road, because there's a little area here. But you come out dirt road and you go north, and it's right about here. Is actually where this area right here is where. Oh no! Don't take that back. It's up here. Here I am. It's up here is where Daniel was last seen. That's the 2 mile mark. And like I said, if you go down here, you're traveling 2 miles south, and you travel 2 miles south, and you keep coming down until you get to T Johnson here. This is T Johnson that Ken was talking about. Come to T Johnson, he should have made a left turn. Let's see if I can get off of this. Made a left turn to go back at Sun Valley Parkway. This dirt road, like I told you, where you guys will be coming in at. For the surgery, you coming in here. We'll be all meeting here to this point. That's about the gate to guide you guys in. And you come down this little road here. And like I said, this is the T Junction to take it to the well sites. So I'll explain those things to you guys when you come out there, but just take it to the well site. But anyway, he said he came down 2 miles south. And when he got to the T Junction, instead of him taking that left turn to go back to Sun Valley Parkway, he went right to the out to the remote area of the desert. Right? That's what he's saying. Now, the puzzling part is he's saying that he went left and all this kind of stuff. The story is, you don't hear of anything about this because this is another little trail here. You guys, like I said, to take you to a different location and stuff like that. But that's the well site. Take you to the well site. You come around here south and hit the T Junction, and you could either go left to go back to the Sun Valley Parkway or go right to keep going out the desert. So they say, go right to see going in the desert. But that's what they say he went out west. So if you want to follow his story, he said, hey, follow the track out there. They say left the track, so I didn't disturb it. He said he got to a gate. There's a gate, I want to say roughly here, somewhere around here. There's a gate there you have to go through. You have to go through the gate. The rancher wanted to keep it shut because the cattle, you get out and all kind of stuff. So gate there. Once you come through the gate, you come here, you pass the power plant. He said, hey, he drove another mile. After he got to the gate, he said he drove another mile. This is about a mile, right? He passed this station here. That's a substation for electricity, infrastructure. And you pass that, and then you come down here. A mile will take you down up in here. And this is the core area where we ask everybody to have everybody park. We park right in this little area right here where everybody would be parking. And the weird part is, like I told you guys the story with Chief Hall. When the vehicle so-called showed up on the 19th, that weekend search that I had, Chief Hall showed up. I have never known where the location of the vehicle was found. And he walked us over this area to show us, when I say we, the volunteers, and they showed me and my daughter on our own time or whatever case, they didn't show us a courtesy. But it walked the whole crowd. He was grandstanding about the cartels and stuff. All that happened right here in this area. That's where the vehicle was found. So we hover over there, got the coordinates there as well, right? And so what I'm saying is, you guys, this will set the map. And if it was to click on these buttons here, this is what we did. January 2022 is need or whatever. You click on these buttons and start having these, everything starts showing up, the areas that we search. Let me go ahead and zoom out so we can get back so you guys can see this. Okay. All right. Now, so we got all these are grids. This is grids, by the way. So we start our searches as well. We'll say, hey, we're gonna search grid. For instance, that's 12, 30 or something like that. You know, whatever. We look at these grids and we say, hey, which grid we actually gonna search this week. We have meetings and stuff before we do the search and kind of decide where we're gonna have a search location based on these grids. Hey, we're gonna just do this little square. Oh, we're gonna do this next one, and we can do this next one, do this next, like that, things like that. So that's how we're doing the pattern of doing the searches. All right, and that one is desired foot search right here. The one that's right in the orange. This is some of the foot search. This is the desert area. I mean, this is where the vehicle was found, you guys. Where I want trying to get everybody to go is right over here in this areas. But it's gonna be south of that on this other side here is where I'm trying to get this search going. Like I said, you see it here. I need those right there still searching that area right there. This is drastically need to be searched. But anyway, those desired search right here, like I said, it'd be down in this area right here. And this is very important stretch right here because of the way the terrain comes down in this area. And we're trying to, sometimes from a science standpoint, a person, even though I know Daniel wasn't there, you guys, I'm just doing these things because, like I said, whoever produced that vehicle out there probably produced something else too. So we have to search these areas and to make sure that person did or persons did not do that as well. So that's the area of least resistance where a person can be. I have to do my due diligence, just like Buckeye suggested that Daniel may have joined a monastery and become a monk. If you was go out west from this area here, if you go way out across the desert, you got to go across the aqueduct. This is the aqueduct canal that runs through here. You got to go past the river. You got to go. It's impossible to do it on foot, but you got to go that far to make it to this monastery, which I did check, and it was closed because of COVID. But I'm saying this is the area that's very important. I had to find the area that's more important right now. Even though all of this area here, you guys still need to be searched. This area, this hadn't been up. This map hadn't been updated in a while. All this has been taken care of, so we're good on that. And we're also good on this area. But this right here on the side here, those areas need to be taken care of. Foot searches. You click the button here. The foot searches also is over here in this area. Some of the areas searches that we have done that we completed, all of this area. This is what when they say foot searches, more so like the line searches and things like that. So all that stuff is what we did already, covered under line searches. All right, hasty search is just walking. That's one of the searches we did early on, you guys. When I first started my searches, hasty search is one of the ones. Hey, everybody pretty much stay in radio communication. You just walking, hiking, and looking for things. There's no uniform thing. We all stand in line, walking together. It's one of those hasty searches, pretty much just checking the terrain. So those kind of searches happen as well. So I just want to show you guys how that works, how the mapping works and things like that, so you guys can see why it takes so long. If you go all the way out, you can see why it takes so long. And we're not searching the whole Sonoran Desert, because if you was to make it from Sun Valley Parkway across the desert here, you see this is all this is mountain area. You can see the high ranges and stuff like that. It'd be hard and impossible to make it to these little areas out here on foot. And these are high ranges and things like that. So Daniel's not walking across the desert, Sonoran Desert, 118 degrees weather, and making it somewhere. So that's not happening. I just wanted to show you guys that and give you a little idea for what I'm doing. This coming search to make sure that we can get that taken care of. I can I wish I can get the rest of the areas searched as well. That's probably want to be one of the most depressing parts for me. When I'm saying depressing, I always have it in the back of my head that I was able to get all the areas that need to, be searched. That I actually get them completed. So that's the only problem I would have with that. And but uh, you know, we'll go from there. We'll see. All right, and let's see here. Again, thank you so much, PM Channel, by the way, for the question. And we have Clumsy here with a question as well. Thank you, Clumsy. The question the Clumsy have is, was there any items removed from Dane's car? I hope not. I hope not. One thing that a couple things, you guys. What's kind of puzzling me right now? Jeff McGrath, he was the investigator, he's the only one that touched my son's vehicle outside of um, Buckeye, and I do know everything the inventory wise was in that vehicle was based on Buckeye's picture for me, right? And also things that was told to me by my investigator Jeff McGrath at the time, and so I know the items that should be there. When Detective Biffin opened that door, tried to get me to touch that car, he opened that door. I seen the items that's on the floor, the samples from that well. That's the stuff that from that well or a well. I don't know where it came from, but I seen the samples on the floor. I won't say it from that well that he went to, but I can say it's samples on the floor. I found out what it was. Hey, what's this? This talking to workers. What those baggies of look like dirt or something, or rocks or what I don't know what it was that Danny have in his vehicle. And I found out that's what it is. That's how they collect their samples, right? That's how they get that stuff tested and make sure the water's drinkable and all this kind of stuff, the soil and all this kind of stuff that geologists do, whatever they do. And so those things in there, I know some logs, a big box of logs. I don't want to give an inventory of things that's in there that I'm really not, because of investigating stuff, I'm not able to tell you every details in there, but I have pictures of everything. And I have an idea to know exactly what's there. So if certain items missing, I'm gonna have a problem with that. The only person that could have became missing from would be Mr. McGrath, because he's the only one had the access to that vehicle. The other problem is that the job has been asking for those samples. Hey, we need those samples. And I've been honest with them. I'm like, no, I cannot release that to them. Now, I directed Mr. McGrath not to do it as well. And the reason why I couldn't let them have those samples, because it's under investigation. My hope and prayer was that the police department will be looking into those samples and everything else to make sure it'll have no connection with my son's disappearance. So everything that's in that vehicle, to me, had to stay there and be untouched and all of this kind of stuff for law enforcement. That's why I directed my investigator not to. I don't care what Matrix New World was requesting and asking for. No, it's in my son's property, it's mine, and it's been given over to me, and I have jurisdiction over that. Who gets anything from there unless they got a court order? And so the thing is, definitely those things I know is in those vehicles, so nothing should be removed. Those things should have been still there. I know exactly what they are. Like I said, the laws, the samples. One thing that Mitch also was asking for, where the workers was asking for, is this hydro pack. They was real desperate, wanting to get this hydro pack. Never seen a thing in Danny's apartment, or I don't know if it was in that vehicle, but never ran into this hydro pack, whatever they was looking for, whatever that's called, and they need it. But they definitely want those samples from that June, you guys, um, um, uh, for the report about that area. Also, I'm pointing back. I'm used to the green screen behind me, guys. But the area out there, can it sustain those communities that's going to be built? Do they have enough water? That type of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. These I remember you mentioning some water sample. Oh, there you go. Some water samples the employers took. Were there anything else? Well, no, I never mentioned them taking any water from that vehicle. They shouldn't. Nobody should have got anything from that vehicle, and that was specifically something I definitely would not give to Matrix New World or whoever. You know what I'm saying? So I hope Mr. McGrath didn't direct on his own accord and do something that against what I asked him not to. So that'll be another issue on his behalf. He'd be in some liable for that. So the whole thing is definitely no, nothing should be missing out that vehicle, and definitely Matrix New World don't have those things. So thanks so much for the question. Also thanking this again for your super chat. I really appreciate that. And thanks so much for the question as well. A lot of times in missing person cases, they say the 24 hours before they went missing and can hold key to what happened. Do you have detailed timeline on Daniel's activity and whereabouts on June 22nd. And, you know, and that's some issues came up with the Waffle House, you guys. That's some of the possible things that we're looking into. You know, of course, my opinion based on what I know and what Buckeye have given me, what they want me to have, I'll put it that way. That's how I feel about it. Would suggest that somebody else was there with Daniel at the Waffle House. One thing about it is the craziness, I think, when I think that sometimes law enforcement, I want to say law enforcement, I want to make it broad, Buckeye specifically, think I'm stupid or something. Like you will give me information about, that's freedom of information. Give me information about the footage on the camera from the Waffle House. Like I'm not going to, I'm doing real investigation. I think I'm doing. They might be right when Buckeye said the FBI said, "Mr. Robinson, you're doing such a great job on your own. We ain't coming in." That's what they said. The FBI said. That's the reason why they ain't in the case now, because Mr. Robinson, you're doing a good job on your own. We don't need to come in. So one thing is for sure, I'm gonna follow up. They send me pictures, say, "Hey, this is what we got." First, they told me they had video. That's Buckeye. Then all look at magically, just like they can't get cell phone pings and all that. They say, "Hey, no, we just got pictures, got still photos of the video or something else." That's what they gave me, some pictures of the video, like almost like they had the video playing on the screen inside the store, and they took pictures of it with their cell phone and sent me that, right? But they send me sections where I guess they want me to see and what they didn't want me to see. That's how I take it. And what the crazy part about it, what they sent me, I'm a very smart guy. I'm a math major, first of all. And the thing is, the timestamps is what told it all. The movements, the area they want me to put it, they put it in. The way they gave it to me would sell a story that Dan came in, he ate his food, he stand up there, paid for food, came back, grabbed his thing, packed his stuff, and then left. No, you got to look at the timestamp and everything else too as well. But the timestamp is a whole hour or so missing in that time that's questionable. And then the way the picture going out, something that should have happened opposite. He went to go meet somebody or whatever case it would be. But it's something happened in there, and they know that. And the other part is I did do a follow-up with the Waffle House, with the management staff, and they remember all of that. And no, they gave video footage. They say we don't give pictures of video logs. Matter of fact, he told me if I wanted to get a copy, I had to go contact, which I tried to contact. Of course, I couldn't. They wouldn't give it to me, but contact they placed the corporate office in Atlanta. I didn't know it even had. I know it was in Atlanta, the corporate office, but anyway, in Atlanta, I had to contact them and to get that footage at that point. So that's where I'm looking at right now. So you guys, that's video footage, of course. They don't give out pictures of their video camera footage. They give out the video copies, and they get it from the corporate office. So that's the kind of thing I was getting from Buckeye as well. As well as they claiming Daniel pumped his gas at his gas pump, you guys, and they gave me those still pictures again. They claiming all this video. Oh, we got video of him at the gas pump. Well, let me see the video. No, give me still pictures. Very blue. It's bluer than the picture of the vehicle sitting on the side of the road that day. But they saying that's Daniel. Well, you sure about that, but you're not sure about the vehicle sitting off of Verado Way near the well site, the first well site that the guy said looked like Daniel's vehicle, and describe it with the two impressions on the windshield like it was hindsight. But they saying that. But then the other part of it, I'm thinking that Daniel's gas pump, his gas tank, where you put your gas in at the cap opening, and it's on the opposite side, sitting at a gas pump. So that kind of stuff don't make sense to me. The whole point is making is say, dude, the timeline. Don't just looking at stuff like that. I look at the details. So the question would be the day before. Yes, a lot of things happen. Of course, his phone been wiped out. Google history from the 22nd. I mean, at the 22nd, the last date you see on 22nd, anything after 22nd, wiped out. The memory card out of his phone, missing. That kind of stuff. Cell phone or whatever. And only person who had possession of that was the Buckeye Police Department. Gave it to me without the memory card that I just purchased for him some months before he went missing. And that's missing. The Google history was wiped out. It has some apps on there. The owner of the app say, "Hey, that's unusual." somebody had to go in and actually wipe it off. It was not something that has happened on their end from an app side, but just different things like that, you guys. So the timeline, right? Do you have the detailed timeline of Daniel's activities? And so yes, I have enough. I'd say I have enough that law enforcement could do a lot better if they really want to. That's why the FBI need to be in clumsy, because like I told you, I have limitations. I can't go jacking people up and say I'm going to interrogate you or go dig into stuff that law enforcement only can do. If they was to change the nature of the case and make it what it really is, suspicious in nature, and it's also as a foul play case, criminal, that type deal. Change that status. Also, question was the area around the first well site ever searched before the Jeep was found? The first well site, I don't think nobody ever had. I haven't either. I only went there to go search that first well site because I had to. It's something else I can't put out, but it's some information I have received about people who's involved or possibly involved with Daniel, and I had to do some recon of an area, and then lo and behold, the area where that vehicle was sitting in there, and the location of the well site that I was heading at the time, I had to pass that spot where that vehicle was found on the side road. That took the picture of. You literally have to pass. There ain't no way around it. You have to pass that spot to get to the first well site, and you have to pass it to come out. Ain't no other way around the other road to get there, back and forth. You can take a back road. No, that's the only way to do it. And that's the ironicity to that. But the thing is, it wasn't no search or anything else that well site itself, ever, to my knowledge, not from me anyway. Maybe I should have done that, but no, I have never searched that well site over there, other than going to it. Excuse me. Thanks so much, Trace, for being here off of YouTube side as well. And let's see who. Barry, thank you so much. All right, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. She's the founder. Barry is the vice president. I'm about to break you, President Barry. Vice President of Daniel Robinson Foundation. You guys, a friend of mine as well, part of the A-team, friend of mine, and team member. Thanks so much, Barry, for being here. Thanks so much for the question as well. And I have one here. Thanks so much. Did Ken initially reach out to the Buckeye Police Department? No. Or did they reach out to him as a witness? And I was told by the Buckeye Police they reached out to him. And, of course, that was the first person reached out was Officer Cruz. The night that Daniel went missing, of course, he called Matrix New World and got information that Daniel was last seen by. He was with the guy at the well site, and then from there he got the phone number of the guy. And from this, all the Officer Cruz telling me at the time, there was no police report that I know of, and that he get in contact with him, and that's when I first heard the story from Ken. And like I said, you guys, you can look in the report, you can look what Ken's saying on whatever show, moving it to 9:30 and all kind of crap. No, you listen to the person initial story when they're fresh in their mind, and they're telling you right there on the spot. I know it happened, the time it happened, blah blah. But then you go adjust it. Just like the guy I told you, the guy to say he's seen my son too. Say he's a federal law enforcement officer who later changes. He was changing the story as time go, because he started off, hey, I seen something around 1 o'clock. Then my investigator got the information back from the infotainment system. Say, hey, that accident happened around 1 o'clock. He heard about that. He moved it back to 10. Oh, I know it was 10 o'clock that morning when I saw him. That kind of stuff. Adjusting the time. So no, initial time that he gave, the first report is what we go by, is that Daniel was there with him at 9 o'clock and he left at 9:15. But yes, Ken didn't reach out to them. They reached out to him, or did they reach out to him? Yes, as a witness. And how long after Daniel went missing did he speak with Buckeye? Like I said, it was that night, what I understand, with Officer Cruz. And then some months later, I guess because I keep making a big deal about it, I did hear Buckeye say they went to go question him again, or ask him a question or something. I don't know. But every time they said to use the word question, they asked them a question. They never brought anybody in the interrogation room, as I know of, except me and my daughter. I think in this whole case with Daniel, My daughter and I, that's the first time I ever been in an interrogation room, you guys, in my life. You know, I'm a grown man, and I have never, ever in my life been in an interrogation room until Daniel went missing, when the Buckeye Police Department put me and my daughter in there asking us questions about Daniel's, getting his cell phone. Like I told you guys, this very phone right here, this is that phone. They got they wanted the cell phone record, and this is how they got the record. We actually pulled my daughter, counted his phones under her count at time, and she's strolling down the screen like this, and they looking over the table like this, reading it while she's strolling, and then they roll a report. We obtained phone records from the family. If that's how you obtain phone record, that's weird, weird, because they didn't ever go to the phone company or ask us for account information to get the phone record or have us to print it out, give it to them on the internet. The second part is they did the same thing with the bank statement. I was able to call USAA Bank because my son's a member. I'm the sponsor for my children. Of course, I'm military. And so I was able to get limited information that Buckeye got initially from that. When y'all heard about the transaction about the gas and all that, that came from me. You guys, like I was saying, I did all the work. So y'all hear Buckeye put stuff in the report, that's my work. Meaning that they was on the phone. I was on the phone with them in the interrogation room talking to USA on speaker so they can hear what limited information, what they want to give, and they roll a report. We got this, it's my work, not the Buckeye Police Department's job, what they done. So I'm saying they took a lot of credit for things I've done in the beginning and all the way to the end here. So, but definitely, as in, how long did Daniel go missing? Did he speak to Buckeye? And I think it was, like I said, Officer Cruz on first time I know it. I think it was like sometime after that, several weeks or so, a couple months or whatever, after that point, did they say they revisit. I know my investigator say he's going to reach out to him. I don't think he ever did, but I know he talked to the young lady. Jeff McGrath talked to the young lady. Also, Lois, thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for moderating as well. Everybody, she's also a moderator to help out in this chat. So thank you so much if you're on the YouTube side to see that. Thank God they finally decided to search. I see the question mark. That's why I have that here. And yes, I'm very grateful that the Maricopa County decided to do a search, put a task force together, a team, whatever, and to get this accomplished. Have you gotten help from the FBI? No. I do have some words in the background, some chatter about the FBI. I did reach out to FBI official Atkins. I can't think his name, but anyway, I reached out to him. I was able to get one message through to him, but then after that, that's how they put it. I called a guy. Got to him at one point, but then the second time I tried to call again, I was intercepted by somebody there. Say, you will never ever talk to him in person. That's how they put it to me. You'll never ever speak to him in person. So okay, that's fine. But I was able to hear some chatter in the background that they will be reaching out to me. So like I said before, I said at one time before that the FBI is coming to Daniel's case because the Buckeye Police Department say we're having a case briefing, and I did it on the my family press. I told my family about it. They was all happy, thinking the FBI is going to come look into Daniel's case. And Buckeye Police Department said they was doing the case briefing. My attorney, she immediately wrote, the same date, request that I be a part of it, or should be both, or just me be a part of that case briefing. But I need to be there. Mr. Robinson need to be there. Of course, they ignored. Buckeye Police Department did it in secrecy. They ignored the request. They did it in secrecy, and then that's when they came back to me and alerted me that the FBI would not be coming in. And the reason why, like I said, they said in this verbatim that the FBI would not be coming in your son's case because the FBI said that you, Mr. Robinson, are doing such a great job on your own. We don't need to come in. So that type deal. And so that's what I heard, and that's what I was told. And the thing is, so that's why the FBI is not in just yet, but that's why I'm so reluctant to even mention the possibility of FBI being in until I actually see it. Like I said, actually speak a lot of words. I hear a lot of chatter in the back, but whenever it happens, then I can say, yes, officially the FBI is in my son's case, and I know they are looking into it. So, excuse me. All right, DJ Moore, thanks so much for being here as well this evening. Thank you, Danielle, for being here. watching from Sydney, Australia. Thanks so much for being here again. And I am a Grizzly. Thanks, I love the Grizzlies. Thanks so much, Grizzly K. The Grizzlies. You guys need to go check out her channel as well. And thanks so much for being here, Grizzly. Praying for you and your family. You praying you find Daniel. He's lucky to have such a great father. I really appreciate you saying that. It's never too late for LE to step up. No, and that's the whole point I'm trying to make. I try to make that point to them as well. I did talk to Chief Glover today from the Tempe Police Department, and we had a one-on-one. And one thing I do could say, you have a good judge of character of a person, right? Just by the way they carry themselves. First of all, the man have a good character. He's just like I felt. He's very attentive, and the concern is really there. So I'm just saying, sometimes, like I told him, what means a lot to me. He's a chief. He's a chief of police, and he took his busy schedule out and sit down and had almost a whole hour conversation with me. To make a long story, and just sit down and listen, give the assistance that he could, tell me where the areas where he couldn't do. Or whatever the case, do some explanation. Whenever you see law enforcement do those things, it's never too late to make a good impression from law enforcement standpoint. And I always got a good impression from him. I'm really grateful that he gave me the opportunity to sit down and speak with him today, because the last time we spoke, it was with the mayor of Tempe, the chief, like I said, him, Chief Glover, as well as Assistant Chief Anderson. But I just needed a one-on-one with him because, we had the meeting with those three people, but the Chief Glover wasn't very vocal that much in that meeting. So I just wanted to see the character guy he is as well. And I'm impressed, very impressed. And I'm really proud of him. He's moving over to the DPS. He's going to take over Department of Public Safety. So I'm saying he's right in the right place. I can tell his mindset is in the right place. His heart is in the right place. And he's really trying to help as much as he can as a chief. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't even have to do that, but he did that. And I'm really grateful for that. So I know we talked about some things I'm not putting out here, but grateful that he gave me the opportunity to express some things in that meeting today. And I just want to say that publicly. But yes, thanks so much, Grizzly. Thank you, Danielle, for being here from Australia. I would like to go visit Australia. I know a lot of people. I have a friend of mine. She just lived in Australia, and talk about a lot about it. Talk a lot about it. So I want to actually visit Sydney and some of the other areas. And but yeah, one day in life, when I go travel one day. So praying as you find Daniel, and I really appreciate you. Lucky to have. Thanks so much. I really appreciate all of that. Each day is a new day to do better, and it is. And that's what I'm saying. One thing that law enforcement do for me is show up at this search, you guys. You know what I'm telling you, be honest with you guys, law enforcement don't show up at the search on the 25th. That'll sell a lot to me. After 40-some weeks of searches without law enforcement help, that'll say a lot to me, because they know how many weeks I've been out there begging, trying to get law enforcement to come out and help, begging for resources, begging you guys for funding to help me in searches and everything else going on. And for them not to show up, yeah, that'll be a tragedy. It'll be tragedy, and we have to go to a different level of things when it comes to law enforcement. These law enforcement officers or whatever. Like I said, actions speak louder than words, and I'm gonna stick to that. DJ Moore, thanks so much. If you have never seen a desert but have seen an ocean, think of looking over the ocean water, but it's nasty, rolling rocks, terrain that everything has thorns. Yes, exactly. And I'm glad you put it in that way, DJ Moore. Talk about thorns. I remember riding in a side-by-side Razor as a four-seater. I always make sure I have a four-seater for volunteers. And then just exactly that day, volunteers weary, tired, and they needed to ride back to the command center. And I had them in the vehicle, right? And taking them back to the command center. And this big cactus, I don't know what type of, not the ones with the bit look like they football field. The green ones is a different type, some little round thing or whatever. I don't know the names of them, but it was sitting on the passenger side as we're coming up down the trail trying to get to the command center, and it was on the right side of the vehicle. So I want to make sure you go on the other side. So I turned my vehicle over to get around the other side because I was concerned that volunteers stick their hand out the window, and get caught by one of those cactus. So I put it on my side of the vehicle, and I didn't cut it fast enough, and the front of the vehicle just barely brushed it. And that thing shot out needles, and it was all down the right side, on the left side of my body, right? Nobody knew about it, but I was in pain. I was itching and burning and everything else all at one time. Felt like trying to get them things out, like pulling them out, like you need a pair of pliers just to get them out the skin. But it's very, very, it was a bad situation. So I say, yeah, you're right. You got to stay away from those things when we do searches and stuff like that. We always talk about stuff like, don't go stepping on them things. You see them right there. Don't step on things. You can just step on those needles or, things like that. No, just leave the cactus alone. I have to say it like that. You see the cactus, leave them alone. Let them do their own thing. So yes, they will shoot needles out, them little thorns, whatever you call them. So yeah, be careful. It is horrible. So, but yes, thanks so much for putting that away. Yes, like I say, my best friend came out from South Carolina. His name is Freeman Hall, to share his time with me out in the desert. And yeah, he would tell you, a lot of volunteers would tell you that desert, saying to understand the nature of somebody go missing out there, why it's important to try to find them. And it's important, very important. And it's very intimidating when you're by yourself. You don't have the numbers. You don't have enough people out there to help. And it's intimidating. If you don't have the right equipment, even if you have the numbers, if you have the right equipment, you can do the job without the numbers. But if you don't have those specialized equipments that law enforcement have, and you relying on people, and you have to have those numbers, is intimidating. The desert can be very intimidating. You think you see the set map I showed you guys. You think you're done, and each of those squares are miles, like a mile almost. Half mile to miles, and you searching these squares at a time, and yeah, it can be intimidating. All right, so thanks so much for putting that up, DJ Moore. All right, I have Terry Coons. Thanks so much for being here. The protest is why Maricopa is talking about search. I know that's why. I said that to the team as well. We talked about it as well. Yeah, Maricopa County. I don't say things, but it's common sense. You're right, Terry. They didn't mention that was part I kind of laughed to myself about when I do have talked to law enforcement. I've been talking about this protest for over a month, and when you talk to them, they don't mention the protest. They talk about the search. Yeah, you got the search coming up. Yeah, but I've been mentioning about that protest too, and but they won't mention it. I think they want me to say it, so I mentioned purposely. I don't say anything about it but they know the protest coming, right? And I can see Maricopa County, because if you think about it, you guys, the searches, the protest is before the search. So if they can get their search before the protest, what's the protest is for? I think the whole goal is to try to stop the protest. So which is beneficial to me if they're actually doing a search. But that's why I say I want to validate that search. I'm not a person that like Buckeye. I was really suspicious about that first helicopter. I was suspicious before I found out that the record don't exist so far that it ever happened. I was suspicious about it, but that second search, the reason why I showed up when because I was making a big deal about them not searching for my son, and they decided to get Silver Air Patrol to go out, right? And he didn't tell me, oh yeah, we got this Silver Air Patrol. We gonna have somebody go out there. Basically, I was making a big thing about why the police department ain't go out and search for my son. Why I'm doing these searches and they're not. And basically, oh well, we planning the Silver Air Patrol search. They told me the date and the time they was going to do it. I think they said they're going to be there at 5 o'clock in the morning. No, I think it was 6 o'clock in the morning. I got there at 5 in the morning. And my daughter and I, another person, we sat there and waited on them. When they pull up. They actually pull up, though. Detective Biffin showed up. I think he was shocked to see me there. Hey, but they let me in that desert. But the point is, I'm saying is, I don't take words for it. Maricopa County is as well. I won't just take words for it. This is my son. I've been in the interest of my son. I've been doing this fight for him over a year. And I would not, I'm not the guy to sit down on a phone at home in South Carolina and call and say, hey, y'all going out there searching? They'd be like, yeah, we searching. Like I told y'all guys, they can say anything on the phone. You can say anything. Hey, we went out and searched an area. They could search the front part near the gate and say, yeah, we out there looking for Daniel. We did extensive search and we really dedicated. We did this, but they didn't go nowhere. They didn't go in these areas that should have been searched. So yeah, I need to know those details. I had to be a part. If I'm not, and it's not something that I'm really satisfied with, as in knowing they actually did these searches they say they did and how they did and why the areas, why they searched this area and why those kind of questions I ask. I won't be satisfied. So it's not going to be no easy road just because Maricopa County City doing the search. No, it's going to be that I'm going to really check into it as well. I'll be on top of it as well. I have to be. So the thing is, the protest is why. Yeah, I really know that. I really know that too. And I agree with you, Terry C. That's why they're pushing it all out of blue. I was like, where that came from? I talked to them the other day. I'm like, team was well as well. Why this jumped up real fast and say, "Oh, we had this protest. We was getting this thing together." No, they moving kind of quick. But yeah, because like you said, Terry, see the protests coming up. All right. Okay, PM Channel. Thanks so much for being here. It's work they are paid to do, and yes, that's right. Very much so. East Sands, thanks so much for being here. Shauna, thank you so much for being here. Shauna, thanks so much. I'll get it right. Shauna is the secretary of the Dan Robinson Foundation. See, Shauna, I got it right. She's the secretary of the foundation, Daniel Robinson Foundation, also a friend of mine, very close friend, and the 18 member. So thanks so much, Shauna, for being here and moderating as well. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. My team. So far, I've seen all of you here tonight. Thank you so far. Thanks so much for being here. Cynthia Woods, thank you again for being here on the Facebook, from the Facebook side of things. Let's see who else I got here. Sarah Joy. Sarah Joy, thanks so much for being here. Please make Facebook events for protests and the search. You said make Facebook events. Is that something, so you said about these social media things, if it's like an events type thing you can put up. But yeah, I see I'll try to figure out what you're talking about when you say that, Joy. Please make a Facebook events for protest and search. But I found out what that means, making events. I don't know if it's something that you can do on Facebook. So I do a lot of stuff on Twitter, as you may know. But yes, I need to try to do more on the other social media platforms as well. Jill, thanks so much for being here as well. Onto the Q&A from the YouTube side. Okay, Cynthia Woods. I'm not sure which link you said not working, but yes, we'll look into that too. If it's something on the pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You guys are here for the first time. Please, by all means, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I really need you guys to do that. And the reason why, like I said, it helps Daniel's story get out farther. I had 10 followers at one point. I first started this thing, and I don't know the numbers at now, but we're at let's see what it says there, 2.26 thousand subscribers. I remember just last month or so, it was at 1,000 subscribers. So the thing is, the more you guys hit that like, share, and subscribe button, make comments, things like that, help the algorithms, get Daniel's story out farther. That's what I'm here to do, to tell Daniel's story. It's not an entertainment channel. It's to get Daniel's story out. And the reason behind I was talking about this Q&A, the method and everything behind that Q&A is the fact that news media, they do the best they can. Like I have some media coming out for the searches, you guys. Some reporters gonna be out there to search, but they look for something exciting, something new. I'd say it that way. They look for something new, because especially journalists and reporters that work for news stations and stuff, they have bosses. Their bosses say, they look at the story. I'm saying if it's not something that's going to generate them ratings or things like that, it's going to die off. Dan's story become old news. And so to keep that from happening, I ask all families do that. To keep that from happening, you got to do things like this. You got to get creative. You got to do things like this, and don't allow your person's case to go cold, because that give law enforcement shade to throw your person's case into a closet somewhere, file cabinet in a closet somewhere, and then to get to it whenever they get to it 20, 30 years from now. So, don't let that happen to your loved one. We're an advocate for your loved one. You're a fighter for your loved one. You have to make sure you're there for your loved one and keep law enforcement active. Oh, they're gonna bitch and complain about it. Don't get me wrong, excuse my expression, because that means more work for them, and they'll say stuff like, "Well, we can't do all these cases we got." And oh well, hire more, get the bigger budget, do what you got to do. But everybody's case is important, and you got to make ways and means to get them done. Oh, we have these bat laws and whatever case may be. I hear you can hear it all. I mean, I get it. That's real, but you got to find those solutions to help people. So, yeah. But like I said, that's why I have this Q&A to keep Daniel's story going, to get out the information and on myself, and to make people aware, and also I need the support. So hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That helps. I really appreciate it. Before you go, even if this is your first time, you're on the time, just hit that like, share, and subscribe button before you leave, and that'll help this channel. Leave a gift. I appreciate it. Terry Coons, thanks so much again. Every post, invitation to Buckeye. Everyone posts the invitation to Buckeye. Tippy, that's right. Thanks so much for suggesting that. And yeah, exactly. It's on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. I have a website. I should make a PDF, put a PDF as well up for you guys to be able to print it, or like I said, share it. However you share it, yes, definitely put it on their Facebook page, their social media pages. But yes, they have the invite. They have the invite. Okay, I do see Cynthia, and I want to say this, it's kind of running. You put that there, and I'm going to say this. It's not a question, but it's a comment about stuff. And the reason I'm pointing you out this way is because I just had a conversation today about this. Somebody asked me this about the nonprofits coming in to help, and Daniel's case, and my search for Daniel. Eventually with a Purpose usually look into individuals that have gone missing in vehicles. They have drones, maybe they can help in this way or another. They have found over 25 people. And I hear Ventures with a Purpose. Some told me there was water related. That's what I was told. So I didn't put them into the category. The other part is I'm reluctant about asking these nonprofits, and I'll be honest with you guys, since I started the search, and it's not no poor orders, that for that, but it's the efforts I've been trying. I've never shied away from help. I've been asking everybody I can for help, right? In my searches, 40 some weeks of searches. And I have yet to find certain groups that say there's going to come, rather they're hiking groups I have a Jeep group came out, I think one time, if I'm not mistaken, or at least a couple of them. But hiking groups and all this other stuff, there people say a lot of things like that, but they never ever actually come. Like I told you, EchoSearch, Daniel's case don't fit their profile. But like I said again, only nonprofit that I ever seen have to actually show action. What they say they would help out with was Black and Missing Foundation. And like I said over and over and over again, I really appreciate them for their help. Nothing with a Venture with a Purpose, because I haven't spoken to them directly to get the information if they would come out and help or not, or if they even possibly can help in this situation. But that's one thing that made me weary about constantly asking nonprofits, those types, And that's one thing that kind of prompted me at too, you guys, when I had Daniel Robinson Foundation, when I founded that, is because, first of all, it hurts me to my heart to see families, my family, to go through what we had to go through to get Daniel's story heard. I worked 3 hard months just to get his story on the national side. It got picked up. People say, "Oh, it got picked up." They say, "Oh, because of the Petito case." No, it's because of my hard work for 3 months. Even with the Petito case, they would have never heard about Daniel Robinson Foundation if I didn't get it to a certain point for it to be picked up, right? And what I'm saying is, I'm not giving myself some type of praise. What I'm saying is I worked hard to do that, to get Daniel's story out there like that. So I saw that. Don't want no other family going through. I hear other families tell me their story out there in the searches. Families who have missing loved ones was out searching for Daniel. And so that put all that in my mind, me being human, hearing all that stuff, and also dealing with nonprofits who give empty promises about coming out to the searches. I said, no, that's not gonna happen. So what's gonna happen is I had to do it myself. I know I'm going through my pain, my family going through our pains. I know I got to keep my focus on Daniel, but I want to be able to help other families too. And when we keep a promise, we say we want to help a family, we want to actually help a family. We will be there. I'm not saying these nonprofits don't have families. Like you said, Venture Without Purpose, they did over 25 people they have found, and that's a blessing. That's a blessing for that foundation and for them to do that. And I'm saying they can, and they have a lot of these have great track records. And I hope the Daniel Robinson Foundation the Daniel Robinson Foundation will have a great track record of helping a lot of people. So they have a lot of track record. Avengers with a Purpose, Aqua Search. I heard they have a good track record of helping people, but in my case for Daniel, it wasn't a good track record to that nonprofits actually came out to help. So, like I said, I had one I was really relying on from a search that I actually got Buckeye to say they're gonna come out. They came out empty-handed, but they're gonna come out, and then along with this nonprofit didn't show up. So, kind of made me weary a little bit asking people. All right. So thanks so much, Cynthia, for that as well. OG Jitterbug, thank you. I really appreciate it. You coming in again. Good evening, David and the family. Thanks so much. Cynthia, again, can Google Earth possibly have more information on record from satellite? I have looked at some of these satellites before. It's out of date. They have everyday picture, but it's like some was before and some after Daniel went missing. So I didn't find one that's helpful yet. There's plenty of them though, so some I just can't get access to. I'm not sure how it works, but no stone unturned. And you're right. You gotta look at everything, and I really appreciate it, Cindy. You're right. That's try to look into every angle, every aspect, and that's very important. So thanks so much for that. Also, Mullery, thanks so much for being here. Question: have you searched 11 miles circumference from where Jeep was found? Yes, and that's what a lot of the search was based on. It started off when I started my searches. It was based on the well site, the wrong well site, but nevertheless, it was based on the well site and Dane's vehicle. He's out there somewhere driving the vehicle in the desert. That was the assumption. Where he went out left and got his vehicle fell in a ravine, a hole, or something. I mean, anything got stuck, and he's walking around in the desert, or he just out there and don't know how to get out of the desert. And we got to find him. Whatever the case may be, all kinds of things thrown at me. So it's based on the well, and then the vehicle magically showed up and planted there. Of course, once my investigator, not Buckeye. So all this information you guys here came from me. When I say me, what I paid for my investigator. It didn't come from Buckeye, but the 11 additional mile came from my investigator. And once that came out, we shared that with Buckeye Police Department. That's when the search changed, and we add the ping there for the location of the vehicle where it was found, and the 11 additional miles that was discovered later. We added that into our search plan, how we plan the searches and stuff like that. So we got to this area called Corridor 11 because of that. And it's not because of 11 additional miles, but it's called Corridor is a new interstate going to be running through that desert out there. So we went up near that area searching based on those 11 additional miles. J.C. Adams. Would the Maricopa County Sheriff Office bring equipment to search the well that had all that debris in? I brought that up today to a law enforcement officer, Tippy, and I bring it up to so many. I really wonder about that. I brought up to the press. I put it on the Q&A. It's almost like nothing I can do to convince anybody outside of pathologists from colleges who can see what I'm talking about, who think that the FBI should be looking into that well. They should resume that well, check that well, and it makes sense all the dirt and stuff they're throwing in to cover up. So, I can't. You already see, because I did have Buckeye come out to look at that same well that got all that debris and all that stuff in it, but I didn't know all that stuff was in there. Don't get me wrong. That was before I had the company go in and go deep down in there, but I had to come to go in there because Buckeye did the job. Again, I was trying to give law enforcement credit somehow. And I was be honest with you, when I saw Buckeye had those Maricopa County posse, whatever they call themselves, go down in there with a little camera, and their camera barely touched the water. I mean, barely touched the water. And they pull back out and say, nope, ain't nothing to see here. Your son ain't in there. Basically. That's big. They ain't saying like that, but basically, that's what we're looking for. I was saying, I say, what? So and it was complaining about their cameras touching that water. Oh Lord, the bottom of my camera got wet, you know. And I'm thinking like, no, should the camera go in the water? I'm thinking about scuba diving and all that kind of stuff. Hey, you need to get in this water, see something in the bottom, put somebody in the bottom of the well or something. And they didn't do that. But I didn't come on a Q&A and I didn't come on social media to be critical because I say, I'm always complaining about what law enforcement doing. And then other white people say, man, he just anti-police. I am not anti-police, you guys. We need law enforcement officers. We need good ones. We definitely need them, right? I was trying to be an officer one time in life. So the thing is, we need officers. And I know they work. Their work is not always easy. I'm a military guy. Our work wasn't easy. So I understand all of that. What I'm saying is, it caused me during that time not to criticize. I said, yeah, thank you, Buckeye, for coming out and doing this search of the well, right? Gave me empty promises still to this day that's going to search those mines, but that's another story. But I'm saying is, you guys, I didn't want to say it in the Q&A, but I was so disappointed with that search from Buckeye or that well. For seeing it with my own eyes how they have to do a job. And so that's why I was able to get that company to come in and go with submergible cameras, get that deal with the owners as an inspection, and went down in there, and lo and behold, all of that stuff we found in that well. If you look from the bottom, and I look at my mind, think this way: don't start from the top going down, because you're going the opposite. You should start from the bottom and look at everything from the bottom up and see how things were thrown in with the sequence that it was thrown in there and the reasons why, and where the mound of dirt came from, and where the poles came from, where the weight came from. All that stuff is right there, the pipe. All that stuff is right there, ready and accessible to. And the only persons, and I'm not accusing nobody, but look at this, what I'm saying to you guys, because I asked the question. I look into research to find out how can I do that well myself? How can I go in those wells and get those things out of that well? And lo and behold, the only persons that could do that in Arizona happen to be the same company that Daniel met the guy from. Weber is the only company that can do that. So my logics would say, not accusing nobody of nothing, but my logic would say the only person who could put that heavy stuff in there is the same people who can pull it out, because they had equipment to put it in there and they had equipment to put it out, because there's some heavy pipe. There's some heavy boarding. So what I'm saying is, and those are things a well inspector who does that for a living said none of that's supposed to be in there. That was suspicious to him as well as he first started going out in there. So the whole point is, yes, I hope they bring equipment to Maricopa County and to search that well. I've been saying to them all the time, but I haven't seen law enforcement do it yet. So, all right, let's see. All right. Now I see Shauna you put up there. This may kind of make me laugh. Um, let me put it up in a way. I don't know if it's good or not, but I would have hand sanitizer for all the handshaking. I think that's fun. Well, the age of COVID, boy, I tell you what, saying you might love people, but you know what? I do that with family members. Saying, look, hand sanitizer, hand sanitizer, hand sanitizer, mask too. So I almost want to put a mask on my little daughter, my 50-year-old. Like, oh man, let me put a mask on. I don't know. So I'm just joking. But Lois, thanks so much for being here as well. Again, like I said, know something, say something, you guys. That's what the tip line is for. You see it scroll on the bottom of the screen. You guys have any information. Getting down to the bottom, I'm still at this point, you guys. I'm really thanking everybody who came out to this Q&A, but I'm definitely going to look for the questions so I can go to the end. I'm at 2 hours and 30 minutes. You are such a wonderful. Oh, thanks so much, Diane. You're such a wonderful father. I pray you find Daniel soon. Bless you. God bless you too, and I really appreciate your support. Thanks so much for the kind words. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Rita. Thanks, Rito. Thanks so much for the question. My dad is 81. But wants to help with the search. Is there anything he could do? He might be able to walk the whole time. He may not be able to walk the whole time, and that's the reason why I have those razors and stuff like that for people who want to be able to walk a long distance. But There's other things that may be able to, because I do have a command center, but the command center so far, I've been saying that to several people already to do certain things in the command center. It depends on what we have done the command center. That'll be helpful to aid in the command center to be able to, you know, uh, just anything need to work the radio, for instance. We'd be monitoring channel 8 and things like that to be able to help relay messages back and forth. Sometimes, depending on people's radios, they may lose signal between one person from one side to the other person, and then the command center is kind of in the center, and they can relay those messages over and things like so. We'll find something for a person like your dad who's 81. Depends on his condition. We have people who came out, believe it or not, who's around the 80s and stuff of age, and they've been doing the search as well. Again, those who get tired and things like that or feel exhausted, radio contact, we come pick them up in the razor, bring them back to the command center and cool them off, whatever they need, hydration or whatever case may be, and we go on from there. So try to make sure everybody's safe. That's what I do, a whole lot of moving around when I'm out there. I try to get with the volunteers and go somewhere else, and I'll be moving around a whole lot. So, all right. And also, thank you, Shauna, for putting this up, you guys. Everybody remember it's National Missing Persons Day on Friday. Started May 25th, 1983, to draw attention to missing person cases across the country. So I will be talking about that on Friday as well. But I'll do some shorts, may do a special live on this Q&A type deal on the StreamYard, YouTube. And all right, okay. It's getting close to my bedtime. I've been reading some things from my team. By the time we get off, I did see I'm over the 2-hour mark, you guys. I'm 2 hours, 30 minutes. But yes, Friday's National Missing Person Day, and I will be talking about that as well. So I think I am. I'm over my time, you guys. Namers, thanks so much. I'm just rushing over this thing that Sean been putting out a whole lot. You guys, a lot of information about namers. There's 2022. 22,456 people missing from 55 states and territories. Arizona ranks number 5th, 1,060 people missing in Phoenix, ranks number 4, top city, with 233 people missing, 16% of them Black. So a lot of information Sean putting out there in the chats, you guys. For those who are not on the YouTube side to see the chats on our side, that's what the information I'm putting here on the screen. According to NAMERS, as of November 2022, there are 14,310 unresolved, unidentified people. Arizona ranks number 2, top 10. So, all right, I hear you. I hear your team. I hear your team getting at me. All right. But anyway, thank you guys so much for the Q&A. I don't see any more questions. I just see one more here. I see 2 more. And I know, team, I'm getting there. Have you ever thought about searching around the area where the Jeep was seen a few days before the found? I have, and I did a specialized search during the time. I call it a special ops. People didn't know at the time. I later told people what that search was all about. I did it in secrecy for a reason. I got all the information I needed from that point. I got some details from that point to this date. One thing I'm gonna say real quick, and I know I need to get off, is I'm waiting on law enforcement to catch up with me. Maybe I am doing a better job, but I'm waiting on law enforcement to catch up with me. It's out of they know. I'm assuming the things I know about my son's case, things I found out on my own. I'm assuming that law enforcement, they say, hey, I heard Chief Hall try to accuse me of holding back information from him. I'm like, I don't work for you. I don't work for him. I don't know. He's making it sound like I work for Buckeye or something. That's why I took him off, you guys, off my tip line, because they was riding off my coattail. I didn't like that. I'll say they haven't found anything in the desert in their searches. We've been finding human remains. I'm like, am I working for Buckeye? And I see them put things in the report that I have done, and they're taking credit for. Had to go to call Maricopa County Medical Examiner's Office because they contributed Buckeye found human remains, and they have not. And I had to tell them it was falsifying document. And they changed it. I still had the email. Gave me an apology letter and changed it. So I'm not letting Buckeye do that. But anyway, again, we have did search. I did search the area for reasons for my investigation. I did, and so yes. Yes, to make that story long story. Yes, I did such an area, and I continue to do things there. Question: do you know if Ken is still working with the same company? Matter of fact, I don't know, but as a matter of fact, I believe he has some ownership in that company as well. So thank you, Auntie, for being here. This is a special occasion. This is my auntie, you guys. Same auntie who was able to give that phone call to Buckeye. And I still say, Auntie, don't know what you said, but whatever you said, Buckeye claimed they did this fire, had the Phoenix Firebird helicopter come out. Stay encouraged, nephew. We are with you, and we love you. I love you too, Auntie. Thanks so much for coming in on the Q&A. And, you know, tell Uncle I say hello too as well. I love you both. All right, and let me see here. Pacific Breeze. Thank you as well for being here. And let's see, I guess seeing more questions, you guys. Okay, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button, you guys, if you guys can before you leave. Rito, I'm coming down, you guys, and this is it. Once I get finished these questions, I'm going. The young lady that your PI talked to, do you know if she has any family in-law in enforcement? And I'm still trying to, you know, I said this like Rito, I know a lot about. All I got to say is like this: there are some conflicts of interest. I express that to other law enforcement agencies as well. They know those things I talk about. But as in, I'll just say it like this. I'll just leave a point blank like this. There's a lot of conflicts of interest in this whole matter with my son as well. All right, a lot of conflicts of interest when it comes to that land development, where my son went missing. So it's a lot of conflicts of interest, period, when it comes to matters of my son and those things I point out to law enforcement. To my avail, nobody would do the right thing. That's why I'm saying again, there are no such thing as a good officer or a good police department if they could see something wrong and don't do anything about it. Right? And I'm just gonna leave it just like that on when it comes to law enforcement. But do you think there's no such thing as a bad apple? I'll just put it that way. Do you think Ken is afraid to say what he knows, or do you think he did something to Daniel? I can't read his mind. I don't know what's in the man's mind or what he's thinking. But all I know is I don't believe his story. All I know is what I follow his story that don't make sense. All I know his story don't match the phone records. But as in his mind and what he's thinking and stuff, I do not know. I can't even tend to know what that man thinking. So you know, I can't make no opinions or comments about that one. All right, and I do have one comment here that his vehicle was not wandering the desert for almost a month. I was somewhere, and someone knows something, and you know that's true too. I just say that when I first looked for Daniel's vehicle and him, and then when the vehicle showed up, especially they want you to believe that he somehow been riding around the desert for 30 days, and then he crashed it in the ravine. So, or just sitting there for 30 days, that type stuff. You know, I heard at first it started off the way, oh yeah, he's riding around for 30 days and he crashed on that date. Then it was turned out, oh no, he's there for 30 days. But yeah, despite of the searches and everything in the same spot. So, and the eyewitness from the rancher. Let's see, Rito. Question: since you are a man of faith, have you thought about reaching out to churches to come help on the 25th of search? Yes, I need to reach out more to churches, especially in Phoenix and surrounding areas. I have been to a couple of churches before for other reasons when it comes to our events and things like that. So I will be reaching out to some of those pastors as well, get those young people out there to the search and stuff. So that's a good idea. Thank you, Rito, for saying that because that helped. Yeah, that's one thing I neglected. I did that for, like I said, for events, but neglected that for the search. So I will be doing that. Thanks so much. And I think that's it. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to put that up there. Thanks so much for thinking that. I really appreciate that. All right. So, all right. With that saying, you guys, I really appreciate you guys. I love you all. Thank you so much. And I'll see you on the next Q&A. And like I said, on Friday, since it's National Missing Person Day, I'll be doing something towards that, whether something like this or some short videos or whatever case may be. But I'll be putting out information like Shauna did, put some information out about missing statistics and missing people and things like that. because can't forget about people, family. Try to do what you can. What I say you guys can do if you want to is to share. Just go Google somebody's missing person and share it on your social media. That'll help out a lot. I would be suggesting that on my social media platforms as well. It's National Missing Person Day. Find some people to highlight their cases on your social media, and that'd be one of those things. So, all right, take care, everybody. Love y'all. Talk to you soon.